Broadcast on the IHSAA Champions Network is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Broadcast is brought to you by the Regional Radio Sports Network, your ticket to the best seat in the house since 1992. The United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. Centier Bank, since 1895, Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Ivy Tech Community College's Lake County campuses. Your future starts here. Horizon Bank, exceptional service, sensible advice for 150 years. Engravables, your headquarters for awards, trophies, and plaques. Tech Credit Union, the better option for personal and business banking.
Broadcast coverage of the Kankakee Valley Cougars and the 2023 Northwest Indiana football season on RRSN.com video. Facebook Live and the Regional Radio Sports Network, LLC, is presented by Route 1 Chevrolet. Indiana customers are only moments from moments. Conveniently located on North Dixie Highway and on the web at route1chevy.com. Other proud partners during our award-winning coverage of student athletes include First Trust Credit Union with locations in Michigan City, LaPorte, Valparaiso, and Wheatfield. Hamstra Group in Wheatfield, delivering quality you can build on at hamstragroup.com. Qubit Networks, striving to provide highly innovative solutions to your unique technology needs. Family Express with services and locations throughout Northwest and North Central Indiana, including Route 10 in Wheatfield and on the web at familyexpress.com. CI Insurance with offices in DeMott, Rensselaer, and Lowell, family-owned and operated and part of our community since 1953, and on the web at ciinsurance.com. Nitco, get up to 100 megabytes of high-speed broadband, the new IPTV television service, and the best Wi-Fi at nitco.com, and be connected always at Nitco. Countryside Realty with over 23 years of honesty and industry knowledge. Countryside Realty, where professionalism matters. Toppin Inc., a family-owned remodeling and construction business serving Jasper and Newton counties, and on the web at toppininc.com. Personal injury attorney Dave Cox. Hurt in a wreck? Call Cox. Forest Ridge Family Dentistry, serving the dental, cosmetic, and restorative needs of Northwest Indiana and the Chicagoland suburbs. And the 2023 Indiana Football Digest, with stories and pictures of over 320 high school teams, 20 college programs, and the Indianapolis Colts. Available online at indianafootballdigest.com. All proud partners of our coverage of the Kankakee Valley Cougars and the Northwest Indiana Football Game of the Week, presented by Route 1 Chevrolet on RRSN.com video, Facebook Live, and the Regional Radio Sports Network, LLC. Your ticket to the best seat in the house since 1992. From Father Eckert Stadium on the campus of Andrean High School, the Regional Radio Sports Network and RRSN.com delayed video present the 2023 Indiana High School football season and the Northwest Indiana Football Game of the Week, presented by our friends at Route 1 Chevrolet in Momence, Illinois. Tonight, we have the Kankakee Valley Cougars traveling north of the river at 1-1 and 0-0 in the NCC, taking on the homestanding Andrean 59ers on senior night. Their record 0-2, and they're 0-0 in the NCC. Well, good Friday evening, everybody, along with the team here at Eckert Stadium. That's Nick Shallon on camera, and, of course, my broadcast partner, he's Monty Lobb. This is Vince Gray. We will be having, during our pregame show, they were introducing the seniors here at Andrean. Remember the Andrean 59ers last year were the state finalists. They went down to Indianapolis, lost the state championship game. This year's version of the Andrean 59ers, just a little bit different, as Drake Bowen has graduated and gone on to play at a little school you might know called Notre Dame. He's playing there for the Fighting Irish and doing a great job. He graduated early, enrolled early, and he was in their spring game and also has played a little bit this season so far. far, but this team is different. Their run and the offense is run very adeptly by their quarterback, Scott Ballantyne. Scott Ballantyne last year had an injury that prevented him from taking the Niners to the state championship game. He did play a little bit at the end of the season, but Scott Ballantyne this year is trying to make up for lost time. 35 for 66 with 380 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Scott Ballantyne, according to his coach, Chris Skinner, has grown an inch. He's gained a little bit of weight, and he's also mentally more in tune with this offense. Scott Ballantyne is going to be a problem for the Kankakee Valley Cougars. On the other side of the ball, the Kankakee Valley Cougars had a big performance last week from quarterback Diego Arroyo. So far for the season, Arroyo 21 for 34 for 221 yards, and he also has 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. But where he made his hay last week was on the ground with 14 rushes for 63 yards, 2 read option touchdowns, as the Cougars came back from a halftime deficit to win 33-14 against the Wheeler Bearcats. Bringing my broadcast partner, Monty Lobb. Well, Monty, welcome back to the broadcast. I hope you had a great summer, and I hope you enjoyed your 2 weeks away from our crew. We're glad to have you back. But let's talk about the Northwest Indiana game of the week. The Andrean 59ers are playing a 5A schedule in their non-conference games. They opened against Maryville. They lost that game 40-14. They came back and took on the defending 5A state champions, the Valparaiso Vikings, and lost that game 55-18. So they've been outscored 95-33, but they're not playing the schedule that the Kankakee Valley Cougars are playing. They have a bigger goal, and that is to get to Indianapolis.
They sure are, Vince. Thank you again for having me back in the booth this year. Always appreciate calling games with you, and you're right, Vince. Andrean squad started off with a tough schedule, but they're battle-tested. So help them later in the year. When you said they want to get back to Indy, they'll be ready by the time the end of the year comes.
Let's talk about the Kankakee Valley Cougars on this other side of the ball. The Kankakee Valley Cougars opened against their traditional Jasper County rival, the Rensselaer Bombers, and at the half they led 21-7. Rensselaer stormed back to take a 28-27 lead, and the Rensselaer Bombers ended up, when they ended up coming back in that ball game, KV got a chance to win the game at the end. They went for 2. Didn't make it. Squib kick was recovered, but then they fumbled the ball away. A disappointing loss, but then they beat Wheeler, another Class 2A school, with 6 kids going both ways.
Yeah, it's very important. Tough one to start against Rensselaer, but nice to bounce back this last week against Wheeler. See what they can do against a tougher Andrean squad tonight.
So the Andrean 59ers coming off the field, but if our cameraman takes a look to the left-hand side of our screen, appreciate Nick Shallon taking the cues. You'll see the parents down at the end of that track lined up, and those are the senior parents. And if Nick can bring a shot down just a little bit, right there you go, Nick. And you can see in the middle of that screen is the senior parents. We're going to go to the public address when we get the opportunity, and we will do that now. Let's meet the seniors from Andrean High School.
Honor some of our senior athletes, trainers, cheerleaders, dancers, and filmers. Thank you for being out here this evening. If you could all go ahead and direct your attention to the flagpole, to the west side of the field here. We're going to go ahead and start with recognizing our senior trainers. Our first senior that we're going to recognize this evening is Tochi Okoye. Tochi is being escorted on the field by her mother, Fidelia Okoye, father Michael Okoye, and sister Nena Okoye. This is Tochi's 3rd season in the athletic training program. Tochi was a member of the soccer team for 3 years, has been on the diversity committee, track team, student council, and is a member of the theater program. Her favorite sports member is the entire playoff season for 2021 and the energy of that team. Tochi plans to attend Purdue Northwest and become a NICU nurse. Give it up for Tochi Okoye. Our next trainer, senior Ashley James. Ashley is being escorted onto the field by her mom, Valencia, and her dad, Donnie. Ashley has also played soccer here at Andrean and has been on the diversity committee for 2 years. Her proudest achievement has been being put on the executive board for diversity. Her favorite memory as a student trainer is learning to wrap wrists with Tochi. After high school, Ashley hopes to attend Texas Southern University and major in immigration law. Ashley James. Those were our senior trainers. Now we're going to move on to our senior cheerleaders and give them some recognition this evening. First we have Anaya Reed. Anaya is being escorted onto the field by her mom, Nina Matthews Reed, and her dad, Drayvon Reed. Anaya has been on the cheer team all 4 years at Andrean. She is also a school ambassador, head of hair and makeup for theater, and a cheer captain. Her favorite memory of cheer or dance is trying to take naps during early morning practices. Anaya plans to attend Tennessee State University to study nursing next year. Anaya Reed. Our next senior cheerleader, Claire Wolak. Claire is being escorted onto the field by Gizzy and Keith Wolak. Claire has been a member of the cheerleading squad for 3 years, as well as being a cheer captain. She's a student ambassador, a member of the student council, and is on the yearbook committee. Claire's favorite cheer memory is cheering on the team when they won state her sophomore year. Claire is interested in attending Indiana University to study nursing. Our next senior, Zion Cooper, to be recognized as a dance senior. Zion is being escorted onto the field by her mom, Tia, sister Jordan, and brother Brandon. This is Zion's second year on the dance team, and she is the team's captain. Her favorite memory from dance is the team talks and lockdown sleepover. Zion plans on attending college to major in business and to one day open her own esthetician shop. Now we're going to move on to the football squad. Our first football senior, number 5, Elijah Jackson. Elijah is being escorted on the field this evening by his mother, Kia Tidwell, father, Eddie Jackson, and sister, Mattia Tidwell. Elijah is in his second year on the varsity football team. He's also a member of the 59er basketball team. His favorite memory is being on the football team and having and sharing those team dinners. And he is proud about going to the state championship game last year. Elijah plans to attend college after graduation. Our next senior, number 9, Luke Donsbach. Luke is escorted on the field tonight by his father, Luke Donsbach. Luke is a 3-year member of the varsity football team, and his proudest achievement is going to state twice. Luke will miss playing under the Friday Night Lights most when he graduates from Andrean High School. He plans to attend college next year.
Why would you keep writing that? Why do I keep reading?
Next, we have number 10, Cole Jenkins. Cole is escorted on the field tonight by his mom, Sarah, and stepdad, Jeff. Cole is a 4-year member of the varsity football team and also plays basketball and has played baseball his freshman and sophomore years. His favorite memory of football is going to state and back-to-back seasons, and the thing he'll miss most about the 59ers is late start Wednesdays. Cole plans on studying finance next year in college. Next, we have number 11, Micah Jones. Micah is being escorted tonight by Daryl and Gina Jones. Micah is a 2-year member of the varsity football team and also plays basketball here at Andrean. His favorite football memory is the journey to state during the playoffs, and what he'll miss most about being a 59er is having classes with his friends and his fun teachers. Micah plans on studying marketing in college next year.
This is Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of Indiana high school football. We are now covering Andrean's senior night festivities. Let's go back to the public address.
Next, we have number 12, Scott Valentine. Scott is being escorted tonight by his parents Sean and Julie Valentine, as well as his sister Maggie Valentine. Scott is a member of the National Honor Society and the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. His favorite memory from football is hugging his brother after the clock hit 0 at Lucas Oil Stadium when the team won state. But Scott plans on going to college next year to study finance and to play football. Our next senior, number 25, Luke Neiman. Luke is escorted tonight by his mom, Melinda, his dad, Brad, and his stepmom, Josie. As well as football, Luke is also a member of the track team, National Honor Society, and Student Council. Luke's favorite football memory is going to state twice. He plans on heading to school next year to become a PA. Next we have number 40, Johnny Myers. Johnny is escorted tonight by his father John Myers, Philip Myers, and Scarlett Chapman. Johnny is a 4-year member of the football team and is also part of the baseball team. His favorite football memory is storming the field after Nico kicked the game-winning field goal against Hobart. After graduation, Johnny plans on going to college to get a degree in psychology. Our next football senior, number 46, Ibuka Okoye. Ibuka is escorted tonight by Fidelia Opeke and his parents. Ibuka is also a member of the track and wrestling teams here at Andrean. His proudest achievement during school was getting a 100% on an Algebra 2 and trig test. Ibuka would like to attend Purdue University to study mechanical engineering. Next we have number 50, Arwin Coleman. Arwin is being escorted on the field by her mom and brother. Arwin is a 4-year member of the football program, and her favorite memory is being on the team and laughing with the guys after Thursday practice and team meal. After graduation, Arwin plans on attending Ball State University. Next we have number 68, Chris Marlowe. Chris is being escorted on the field by his parents Steve and Valerie Marlowe, along with his brother Hamden and Corey. Chris is a 4-year member of the varsity football team, captain of the shot put and discus squads and track, treasurer of the National Honor Society, president of the band program, on student council, and is a member of the Spell Bowl and Quiz team. Quiz Bowl team. English Academic Super Bowl, Fine Arts, Academic Super Bowl, and French Honor Society. Chris is planning on attending Rolls-Holman Institute of Technology to study international computer science next year. Next we have number 70, Connor Gersevich. Connor is escorted on the field by his parents, Jason and Kim. Connor is a 4-year member of the varsity football team. His proudest achievement during his time at Andrean is winning his state championship his sophomore year, and the thing he'll miss most about being a 59er is the one big family. Connor plans on going to college to study electrical engineering. His advice for underclassmen would be to get good grades. Next we have number 74, Zeke Gray. Zeke is being escorted on the field by Charlie Wilder, Ronald Gray, and Zyla Morgan. Zeke is in his second year on the varsity football team. He's very active at Andrean, and he participates in theater, wrestling, track, student council, and is also a student ambassador. After graduation, Zeke plans on going into information technology and moving to Chicago. And our last football senior, number 75, Brent Stewart. Brent is being escorted on the field by June, Terry, and Steve Stewart. Brent has been a member of the varsity football team for 2 years, and his favorite memory for the team is beating everyone on his first day. His proudest achievement as a member of the program is going to state. After graduation, Brent plans on attending college and majoring in sports medicine. Our last senior to be recognized this evening is the film man, John Sternberg. John is being escorted by Coach John Riscosi. John is in his 4th year doing film for the team. What he plans on doing after this year is to graduate and go to college for film editing and relations. John Sternberg.
And those are the Andrean seniors that are being introduced here on senior night. This is the Route 1 Chevy pregame show. Route 1 Chevy is happy to support Northwest Indiana High School athletics as well as serve the new and pre-owned vehicle and service needs of their customers in Northwest Indiana. Over the past decade, Route 1 Chevrolet in Momence, Illinois has consistently received the highest sales and service customer satisfaction ratings of any General Motors dealer in all of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Their customers have made them number one. When you think of what is important to you, think of number one, Route 1. Route 1 is open from 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, and 9 to 5 on Saturdays. Route 1 is conveniently located at 631 North Dixie Highway in Momence, Illinois. Route 1 is 10 minutes from Lowell, 15 minutes from Cedar Lake, and 20 minutes from DeMott. In all cases, Northwest Indiana customers are only moments from Momence. Route 1 can be reached at 815-424-6068, and you can find them on the web at route1chevy.com. We'll take a quick 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we're going to hear from Kirk Kennedy, head coach of the Kankakee Valley Cougars, as our pregame show rolls on. This is the Northwest Indiana High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Route 1 Chevrolet on Regional Radio Sports.
Every day, people turn to their local Family Express store to fuel up and find what they're looking for. They enjoy their fuel for the day, fuel for their vehicle, even Grandma grabs some fuel for the grandkids before she gives them back to Mom and Dad. But what gives us all a little extra fuel? Saving money. And Family Express is helping you do just that with FE Perks. FE Perks is a rewards program helping you save money on fuel by purchasing everyday items. When you buy perked items like a pop or soda, depending on where you hail from, and a snack, items add up to even more savings. You save at least 3 cents off fuel every time you use FE Perks. Pick up your Family Express Perks card, register and get exclusive access to club cards, coupons, and free items in store. Download the app or sign up with your phone number for FE Perks by heading over to FamilyExpress.com.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. Battles are won within. Over enemies of fear. Enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise of battles won.
Pre-game coverage continues here on Regional Radio Sports, and we're spending a couple minutes with the head coach of the Kankakee Valley Cougars. That's Kirk Kennedy.
Cougars on the road this week taking on the Andrean 59ers. Coach, let's start with last week's game against Wheeler. We really expected Wheeler to throw the ball all over the yard and kind of try to spread you out, and we expected the Cougars to work on the running game with Marco Castro. But, boy, I'll tell you what, you guys flipped the script. You came out throwing. They came out running. The first half was a little choppy, but it was a completely different ball game than we thought it was going to be. Talk about how you started out against Wheeler.
Well, we are more diverse on offense. You know, we do have some weapons that, we made a concerted effort this year to get the ball into the hands of some of those weapons and just do some different things offensively. And I believe, if I remember right, seven different receivers caught a pass last Friday, which is pretty good as far as, dispersing the ball and getting the ball in different people's hands. So we like that. We like not being so predictable and being able to execute some different things and just getting, different kids involved in what we're doing. Diego certainly is talented at quarterback and he can get the ball around, to different people and back that up with a solid running game. It's kind of like, the defense really has to pick and choose what they're going to defend because, they are no longer able to just stack the box and stop our running game. They have to defend the whole field.
When we talk a lot about your club and we talk about what KV is all about, this is where Andrean's season begins. They're opening their conference season after two really tough games. They started against Maryville, one of the traditional powers in Northwest Indiana, and then they took on the defending 5A champions, the Valpo Vikings. They scored 14 points, and they really throw the ball around the yard with Scott Ballantyne. Their starting quarterback was their quarterback last year till he got injured. Their backup took them to the state finals. He's got something to prove this year.
Yeah, they're Andrean's definitely a great football program, and they have again this year a solid team, and it's going to test us, at every bend. So we're going to have a great week of practice and head up there, fire on all cylinders, and get a fast start. Last week we kind of came out of the gate kind of slow, so this week's going to take a fast start and have us make some good things happen early and build some confidence and just play a complete ball game. We gotta be fired up. We gotta hustle. We gotta give great effort. We gotta play fundamentally sound. And nobody's asking the kids to put an S on their chest. Just do the kind of things we're capable of doing, but just be the best version of us that we can be. Not go up there and have some preconceived notions about the game and have a defeatist attitude before the game even starts. We gotta give ourselves a chance, and that's what we're gonna work hard this week to do.
Talk about year two, Coach. You've been at KV now for a season plus a couple of games. You're working towards 200 wins. There's a lot of goals, I'm sure, and winning all 200 games is not one of them. But talk about how you're working towards that goal of getting the Cougars to the next level and being a force in the NCC and possibly making a long run in Sectional 17. How do you feel that's going for you? From an outsider's point of view, it feels like your kids want to smash somebody in the mouth, but occasionally, you've mentioned it, they come out fired up, some halves and some halves they don't. How do you make them more consistent?
Well, you said it. The word consistent is big. Really, when you take over a program like KV, really without the winning tradition, without the history of championships, physically, I don't think we're that bad. If you look at the size of our kids and the ability of our kids, I think we match up physically with just about anybody. It's just the disconnect, the difference seems to be right now mental, and that's really self-inflicted. And when the biggest obstacle in the way of success is just in your own mind and with your own thoughts, that can get frustrating at times. So, we talk all the time about culture and about confidence and about just a mental approach to the game. Every great, and we talk about this all the time with the kids, every great accomplishment throughout history started with a belief. And once we get that mental approach back to where we need it to be and start playing with some confidence and believing in ourselves, we're going to be a team that needs to be reckoned with. But, right now that's the gap really between our potential and our reality is just mental. So, you kind of chip away at that. That's a process, but we are definitely, in my opinion, making progress.
When it comes to your technological needs, Cubit Networks cares about your quality of experience. They're located at 103 Polk Street in LaPorte, and Cubit Networks wants to build client relationships that withstand the test of time and changing technology. You can buy technology from anywhere, but Cubit Networks' dedication to making your purchase a great one is the difference you've been looking for. You can give them a call at 219-369-4357. Find them on the web at cubitnet.com. Cubit Networks, moving and storing data fast and safe. And your future is waiting at Ivy Tech Lake County. From information technology to healthcare, automotive to hospitality, Ivy Tech Lake County has programs designed to get you to where you need to be so you're ready for the job you want. They have new classes starting in October, so come on in and register today. Call 219-392-3600 or visit ivytech.edu/Lake County to enroll today. Your future begins at Ivy Tech Lake County. Well, Kirk Kennedy's got a lot on his plate down in Wheatfield for Monty Lobb because, he's trying to change the mindset. He's won a state championship, but it took him a while to get Lowell there. The Cougars just aren't there right now. What is it going to take for these Cougars to get there?
He sure did. He mentioned in the pregame interview, don't put an S on your chest. Don't feel like you got to play Superman out there. Play within yourself. He also mentioned being consistent, stringing two halves of good football together. And he said it's upstairs. It's all mental right now. So if they can mentally get themselves ready to play, continue through both halves of the ball game, see a good game.
We should see a good game from these clubs, and we're going to take a look now, and we're going to actually cue up our interview with Chris Skinner. We're going to go ahead and skip today's break here, this second break. Chris Skinner, the head coach of the Andrean 59ers, author of a state championship last year. They were state runner-up.
Pre-game coverage continues here at Father Vincent P. Eckert Stadium as we get set for this matchup between the Andrean 59ers and the Kankakee Valley Cougars. Chris Skinner, the head coach of the 59ers, is going to join us here and coach two tough opponents in weeks number 1 and number 2, two of the top-rated teams in the state of Indiana. What did you learn about your squad during weeks 1 and 2 that you can use now as you enter conference play tonight?
Yeah, I think we've learned some things about some individual players. It's been nice. Obviously, as you mentioned, two very talented football teams. But both of them, Maryville and Valpo, are a little bit different in the way that they play, stylistically and scheme. So that was nice to go up against two teams that do things a little bit differently because, again, for us schematically and then for our individual players, we're exposed to two different styles. So, there are there's some changes they're going to see on Friday that are kind of coaches' decisions as a result of what we saw the last couple weeks. Things that we think will benefit our players and what we're trying to do moving forward. And, obviously those outcomes were not what we like. We didn't string together 4 quarters of football against Valpo and Maryville. And obviously, like you said, they're two really good teams. But, there's still some things we need to take away from both of those in order to improve and adjust what we're doing for conference play.
Coach Scott Ballantyne, your 6'1", 185-pound senior quarterback, has done a terrific job for you, carrying over from last year's success. He's thrown for 380 yards and also a pair of TDs. Analyze his progression as he's moved through his career at quarterback and his decision-making as far as going to the next level as he goes through his progressions.
Yeah, so Scott started as a sophomore when we won the state championship in 21. And one of the things that, got him that starting job was his ability to process the game, his intellect, his understanding of what we're trying to do schematically, and then also, how that might change or how there's variations against this defense or that defense. So he's always kind of had that intellect. This year, I think anybody that sees him in person will notice that he's physically more mature this year. He grew about an inch, started filling out. He's always been a hard worker, sometimes that's just genetics. And so this past offseason really started to translate to, thickening up the body a little bit and, his arms, his chest, his lower half. So he looks good. And so now, pairing that with his ability to understand the game and read the game, and he's in a good place. And we know how intelligent he is. We've actually expanded on some things we've been doing the last couple of years. It's a little bit more complicated from the quarterback position, just in terms of reads and what we ask of him. But we know Scott is somebody that could handle it. That's part of the reason why we installed some of these things. So I think you're seeing that play out a little bit. Like you said, we played two really good teams. fundamentally sound, fast, and physical. So it hasn't always been the easiest matchups, but I think Scott's done a good job of managing it and, having success. And certainly some things we need to work on and keep getting better at, though.
Personal injury attorney Dave Cox proudly supports region football and wishes the Andrean 59ers and all our region teams best of luck this season. We hope you never need his services, but if you were hurt in a wreck, call Cox. Attorney Cox is a life member of the $1 Million Advocates Forum and is dedicated to representing seriously injured victims of negligence and getting fair and just results. For a free consultation or just to discuss his best game plan in your case, call or text 219-CALL-COX, which is 219-225-5269. Or check him out online at davecoxlaw.com. Cox Law Office, located at 8792 East Ridge Road in Hobart. And tonight's game also being brought to us by Toppin Inc. Toppin Inc. is a family-owned remodeling and construction business specializing in remodeling projects, new construction, room additions, as well as siding, roofing, and replacement windows. Based in DeMont, they service Jasper and Newton counties. They also service Bass Lake, Lake Maxinkuckee, Knox, and Culver. And they're an A-plus member of the Better Business Bureau. Seeking employment opportunities, their phone number 219-928-3106. And they're on the web at toppininc.com.
We're visiting with Chris Skinner, the head coach of the Andrean 59ers, here on the pregame show on RRSN.com video, Facebook Live, and Regional Radio Sports. And coach, a two-way player, Jimmy Finley, 6'1", 170, and a junior, doing a great job catching passes from Scott. He's had 9 receptions for 153 yards. Also doing a great job with 14 total tackles on the other side of the football. Tough thing to go two ways in Northwest Indiana football. How has he been able to handle that for you?
Yeah, well, Jimmy's a fantastic athlete. He already has a couple Division I offers from MAC schools. He's a track superstar. He made it to state last year in the hurdles. Also plays varsity basketball. So it's difficult to do that when you're not a good athlete. And thankfully Jimmy is a good athlete and he takes care of his body. And this was something that we knew going into the year. Last year he played primarily safety for us. Didn't get a ton of reps at wide receiver, but we know going into this year, like, hey man, you're gonna have to do both. You're gonna have to do both at a high level. So he's made an effort to take care of his body, and he had a good summer in terms of strength and power and getting his body right for it. So a lot of credit goes to him on that front. But we got a handful of guys. This is kind of what we ask of our players. We're not shy about playing guys on both sides of the ball. We always say the best 11 are going to be on the field that are going to give us an opportunity to win. So that means, hey, 5 or 6 or 7 of those guys are also playing on the other side of the ball. Then we got to find ways to keep them fresh and rotate bodies. And Jimmy's just one of those guys that we're asking a lot of.
That was our own Mike Knezovich interviewing Chris Skinner, the head coach of the Andrean 59ers. Andrean 59ers state runners-up last season. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick 2-minute audio timeout. When we come back, we'll introduce you to tonight's starting lineups in a very rocking Father Eckert Stadium here at the campus of Andrean 59ers, getting ready for the Andrean 59ers to host the Kankakee Valley Cougars in the Northwest Crossroads Conference opener for both of these football squads. 2-minute audio timeout, and we'll be back on Regional Radio Sports and RRSN.com video. Your ticket to the best seat in the house since 1992.
State Farm Insurance asks if you're feeling stuck in a state of compensation stagnation. Another year with no raise. Then let State Farm help you get to a better state with a discount double check that can stretch your hard-earned dollars a little farther. They'll go through your car insurance to make sure you're getting all the discounts you deserve. Discounts could add up to 40% and put a few hundred extra dollars in your pocket. Discounts may vary state to state. Danny DeTola, 2449 45th Street, Highland, 963-4444.
At home and around the world, protecting our freedoms each and every day. Our national anthem, brought to you by the United States Marine Corps.
Forest Ridge Family Dentistry in Cherville has been serving the dental, cosmetic, and restorative needs of Northwest Indiana and the Chicagoland suburbs. Most dental insurances are accepted and financing options are available. I have put my trust in their skilled hands since 1986. So why don't you schedule that appointment today at 219-756-2345 or look them up on the web at forestridgefamilydentistry.com. Mention that you heard this ad and receive a special discount at Forest Ridge Family Dentistry, 7303 Forest Ridge Drive in Cherville, for all your dental needs.
Tonight's starting lineups brought to us by the Hamster Group. For more than 50 years, the Hamster Group has established itself as a leader in the communities of Northwest Indiana and surrounding areas, whether it be in the development of retail shopping centers, commercial offices, agricultural centers, municipal facilities, or a number of other property types. Hamster Builders has the answers to meet the needs of their customers and communities. Hamster Group in Wheatfield, for quality you can build on. Call them at 219-956-3111 or look them up on the web at hamstergroup.com. The defense for the Andrean 59ers. Up front, a 6'4", 185-pound senior, Elijah Jackson. In the middle, it's Zeke Gray, 5'11", 265 pounds, and a senior, no relation. On the right defensive end, 6', 195-pound junior, it's Angel Torres. In the defensive linebacking core, Ibuka Okoye is the left outside linebacker, 5'9", 175, and a senior. Luke Donsbach, an inside linebacker, 5'8", 210, and a senior. J.J. Bolt's another inside linebacker, 6', 215 pounds, and a sophomore, and a solo tackleist himself. He's an outside linebacker, 5'7", 165 junior, Ellis Dumas. Defensive secondary for the 59ers, who've given up so far 47.5 points per game. Gavin Jones, Jaden Holmes, Jimmy Finley, and Luke Neiman. Offensively for the Kankakee Valley Cougars, their quarterback is Diego Arroyo, 5'10", 185 pounds, and a junior, 21 for 34, 221 yards on the season. He's protected up front by the left tackle, 6 foot junior Gavin Renfro on the left guard spot, 5'10", and 175 pounds, and a senior. It's Max Duttlinger. The man in the middle is Mason Kitchen at center. Miles Kitchen, his brother, is on his right side at guard, and then Logan Burke is the right tackle. Offensively for the Cougars, at wide receiver, a 6'4", 215-pound senior, it's Eli Deerdorf. The tight end is Gabe Kistler, 6'5", 210 pounds, and a senior. And the outside wide receiver having a really good season in returns as well, 5'10", and a senior, 155-pound Lane Zander. Braden Swallows, the fullback. He wears the unconventional number 84, 6', 190-pound senior. And the running back for the Cougars is Marco Castro. He's had a big year so far, 2 100-yard games for Castro. Offensively for the Niners, they're run by Scott Ballantyne, the quarterback back from injury. Up front, it's Ben Novak, Miguel Rivera, John Lemaire, Connor Grikovich, and James Metro up front. Micah Jones, Cole Jenkins, and Jimmy Finley, a trio of wide receivers that give teams all kinds of fits. Luke Donsbach is the tight end. And Ellis Dumas is a running back. Only 5 rushes for 16 yards. This team likes to throw it. Defensively for the Cougars, up front, Gabe Kistler, Logan Burke, Gavin Renfro, and Eli Deerdorf. A lot of Cougars going both ways in the linebacking core. It's going to be Jaden Andersons, Chris Scott, Marco Castro, and Ed Ritchie. Lane Zander, Nolan Kustra, and Aiden Eichmann are the defensive backs. Opening coin toss is being contested, and we'll find out who's going to get what. Let's also remember that our players of the game for today's ball game are being presented by Route 1 Chevrolet. Players of the game will be presented by Route 1 Chevrolet. We'll also be bringing you now our Route 1 keys to the game. So, Mr. Monty Lobb, tell me what we need to know. What are the keys to the game for both of these teams?
Keys to the game for the Andrean 49ers. Take care of the football. So far, these first 2 losses, a couple of turnovers, got to hang on to the ball tonight. For the Kankakee Valley Cougars, I expect them to run the football heavily. Diego Arroyo loves that read option. Look for them to get to the ground and pound game.
So the Cougars lost the toss. Andrean deferred to the second half. Cougars will receive the kickoff. They'll be looking into the sun to begin this ball game. Cougars are on the road, so they've got their red shorts. I wish they had shorts on. It's hot out there. Red pants with white jerseys, red numbers, and white helmets. Andrean in their traditional crimson and gold uniforms. They've got gold helmets as well, white numbers. We should be able to see a lot from up here on our perch. And remember, when the players get into the red zone, they'll be in the Family Express red zone. You'll see the indicator on the screen, the Family Express red zone. And Cravens to Order, there's a Family Express near you with Cravens to Order. All kinds of new items on their menu. You can go to their website, FamilyExpress.com, to ask for Cravens to Order. You can get a pizza to go in less than 5 minutes. It's fresh. It's fast. It's Family Express. So the Kankakee Valley Cougars will be moving from east to west. This is an unconventional field setup, as they'll be looking directly into the sun at the beginning of this ball game. Again, it's senior night for the Andrean 59ers. Andrean 59ers come in with a record of 0-2. Kicking off for the Andrean 59ers is going to be P.J. Cusick. P.J. Cusick will be kicking off. He's also the punter. If there is an extra point attempt, Scott Ballantyne will be the holder. Cole Jenkins will be the snapper. Receiving for the Kankakee Valley Cougars, and their receiving game and their return game has been very strong this year. Lane Zander and Adrian Eichmann will be back to receive for the Cougars. Remember, Lane Zander with an 84-yard touchdown run back after he gave up a touchdown defensively. So the Cougars come out, and they're going to again be moving from east to west into the sun at the beginning of this ball game. So back to receive along with that will be number 23 as well for the Cougars. I remember my sheet in front of me. That's going to be Grayley Weaver as well. So Grayley Weaver, kind of one of the upbacks, but they've got back in the back Lane Zander and Adrian Eichmann. Currently we're running live audio. We'll be having a delayed video. This game will be posted on our website, rrsn.com, with video at the end. We'll also be giving you updates throughout the ball game from our friends at Scoreboard Central and the Indiana Football Digest. 2023 Indiana Football Digest contains stories and pictures on over 320 high school teams and more than 20 college programs in the state. You can find it on the web at indianafootballdigest.com. Cusack's hands in the air. He does care. Kick is on the way. It's end over end. And we're underway as it's going to be in the hands of Eichmann. Eichmann's got the ball at the 15. He's to the 20. He's still got room to run. 25-yard line. Just outside the 25-yard line is where the Cougars will start. 1st and 10.
They were smart to kick it away from Lane Zander there, as he's already taken one to the house in a previous ball game this season.
And Lane Zander gets the Cougars started, so they're going to start on their own 24-yard line. Take a look at the clock, and we've got a great view up here thanks to the faculty and staff here at Andrean High School, including an old friend of my program at least, Neil Demos, my former boss at the Griffith High School, and Neil Demos now the athletic director here at Andrean. Cougars come out with receivers left and right. It's going to be Deerdorf on the far side, Zander on the near side, split backfield. Swallow on the right, Castro on the left. Arroyo barking out signals. Here's the snap to Arroyo as Zander comes in motion. Cougars wait to get all the way to the outside. He gets all the way to the sideline, and they give it to Castro. They're trying to run it up the middle. He gets a gain of possibly 2. We'll call it a gain of 2 for Castro. It's going to be 2nd down and 8. Ball will be resting on the 26-yard line.
Boy, was he swallowed up quick in a hurry there, Vince.
No, Swallow's the fullback, my friend. Okay. Now, they ran Zander all the way over to the marker on the outside. Zander was one step off the side. I don't know why they did that as Grayley Weaver checks into the ball game. Gray with a stop on that. That's going to be the big senior. Zeke Gray got the stop. He was one of many Niners. Zeke Gray takes up a lot in the middle there, 265 pounds, but he's probably just a couple biscuits off 300. Arroyo now takes the snap. It's going to be a first pass. It's a swing pass outside, and it's in the hands of Weaver. Weaver busts through a couple of tackles. He's going to get the ball all the way up to the 30-yard line. So give Weaver a gain of 4 on that reception. First pass reception, first completion for Arroyo. So Arroyo 1 for 1 for 4 yards. Nice swing pass as the Cougars try to run an offense that can get a little bit more ground and pound. Tackling was mentioned in Chris Skinner's pregame interview. 3rd down and 5, 10:43 to go in our first quarter of play. Ball on the 30-yard line, long down and distance for the Cougars as they come with split receivers on the near side. Zander in the slot, Deerdorf to the outside, Weaver on the wing. Arroyo gets the snap. He looks to the left. Now Arroyo's going to try to bust contain. He does. Arroyo gets in the secondary. He gets to the marker. It's going to be 1st down, Cougars.
Very nice job by Arroyo improvising there. Line kind of broke down on him. He's able to escape out to the right for a 1st down.
And they're going to say then it is a 1st down, Cougar. Give Arroyo just the extra down that he needed. So give Arroyo a gain of 6. Call it 1st down, Cougars. So the first rush for Arroyo, and that's where he made his hay last week when Arroyo ran read option very well. 2 touchdowns for Arroyo on the ground last week against Wheeler. The Wheeler Bearcats, a different animal than the Andrean 59ers is. Now Castro's on his left hip. They hand the ball to Castro with that high running style. Castro breaks contain. Castro still in the secondary. He pushes the pile forward. It's a gain of 8 Cougars.
Castro shoving a few guys to the side, gaining a few extra yards there.
Gain of 8 Cougars up to the 44-yard line. 10 minutes and 10 seconds to go in our first quarter of play. Kankakee Valley on the move almost near the midfield stripe, near the stylistic Andrean logo at midfield.
Great first down play there. Sets up second and short here.
Weaver coming to the near side. Deerdorf to the far side. Give the tackle on that last drive to number 3, J.J. Bolts. Arroyo hands it again to Castro. No, it's a read option for Arroyo, and he's trouble. Arroyo into the secondary. Arroyo now across midfield. It's going to be first down Cougars. They're all the way up to the Andrean 48-yard line.
Another great run play getting into the second level there by Arroyo.
So give him a gain of, we'll call it 6. On this drive, 4 runs for the Cougars and a pass. Secondary tackle made out there by 15, Jimmy Finley. Deerdorf to the near side. Xander to the far side. Castro on the left hip of Arroyo. Here comes the snap. Now Xander in motion. They're going to get to Xander in the sweep, and they've read this out. Andrean saw that coming all day long. It's a loss of 1.
They sure did, and that little pitch play barely got to Xander. Almost went past his reach.
Ellis Dumas with the stop on that. Ellis Dumas, a 5'7", 165-pound junior. And when we talked to Chris Skinner said there were going to be adjustments that needed to be made on his defense. He had problems with their tackling, but so far Andrean up to the task. Cougars are just inside the 50-yard line. Call it second down and 11 yards to go. Ball resting on the 49.5-yard line. 8:43 to go in a quickly moving first quarter. Arroyo barks out signals. Slot receivers gives it to Castro again with that high running style. Castro makes him pay. Castro with a gain of 6 down to the 45-yard line.
Castro putting his head down, putting a D end on the ground right there.
Castro's had a trouble with putting the football on the ground occasionally this year as well, Monty. He's had a fumble problem because he runs so high and he's up in the air. He does care. He gets bumped a little bit and drops the ball.
I could see that.
Kitchen comes out with the offense. Cougars spreading it out with Deerdorf on the far side. Eichmann into the ball game on the near side. Swallow near the line of scrimmage. Castro on the right hip, and the shotgun snap, as I learned to speak, comes out. Arroyo's in trouble, and Arroyo's going to be taken down.
Held onto the ball just a little bit too long there, but they got in on him quick.
And Luke Donsbach gets the tackle for loss, so call it a loss of 5 on the play. Luke Donsbach gets the stop, and it looks like the Cougars are going to have to punt it away with a long down and distance, and their punter is Diego Arroyo. As a punter, he averages 34.8 yards per punt. His long this season is 53 yards. He's had 2 land inside the 20.
Drive didn't end up quite the way they wanted, but did a good job picking up a couple first downs, controlling the tempo there to start the ball game.
Sun already setting on the western side of the stadium. What a beautiful facility here at Father Eckert Stadium. Andrean looks like they're going to bring pressure. They get it to Arroyo. Arroyo gets it away. It's an end-over-end kick. It's over the head of the receiver. Takes a bounce. If I could hit a 9-iron like that, I'd love it. Ball goes down to the 15-yard line. There'll be no gain on the play.
Not a bad little pump by Arroyo. He can sling it with the arm, and he's got the leg as well to go with it.
Ball rests on the 16-yard line, so Andrean will start on their own 16-yard line. Route 1 Chevy is happy to support Northwest Indiana High School athletics, as well as serve the new and pre-owned vehicle and service needs of its customers in Northwest Indiana. Over the past decade, Route 1 Chevrolet in Momence, Illinois has consistently received the highest sales and customer service satisfaction ratings of any General Motors dealer in all of Chicagoland. Find them on the web at route1chevy.com and 815-424-6068. So Ballantyne with a trio of split receivers. Man in motion will be Jones. Micah Jones gets the swing, and he goes nowhere. Good job by the Cougars as Jones got the quick pitch on the sweep around. Jones didn't make any kind of progress.
Great gang pursuit there by the Cougars, rallying to the ball, making the tackle as a team.
Micah Jones. We had the good fortune to meet Micah Jones and Scott Ballantyne, Scott Ballantyne's moms this evening, and we didn't know it was senior night. We would have given him a hearty congratulations, maybe some chocolates and candy. We didn't know.
That's right. They were great people pregame. Told us to shout out their sons.
And we just did. 6:31 to go in the second quarter play as Jones comes around the backside in motion. Now Ballantyne finds Jones out in the flat. Cougars trying to make a stop, and they do, and he dropped to a knee. Good job by Lane Zander to pursue. Kustra also over there. It's going to be a loss of 3. It's a completed swing pass. Loss of 3 on the play.
2 swing passes to Jones on both sides of the field here, both gone nowhere.
Jones going back in the ballgame, left his mouthpiece, so Jones will meander off the field. 3rd down and 12, ball rests on the 14-yard line. 5 minutes and 55 seconds to go. Down to the near side is going to be number 15, Jimmy Findley, and to the far side will be Luke Donsbach. Now it's a motion looking. They're trying to find him, and Ballantyne's loose into the secondary. Ballantyne's coming down the field. He's still loose. They can't stop him, and Ballantyne's broken contained. He's at the 50. He's at the 40, 30. No one's going to catch him. Scott Ballantyne to the house. Touchdown, Andrean 59ers.
Wow, what a play by Ballantyne.
Ballantyne with an 86-yard touchdown run. And just like that, it's 6-0, Andrean.
He had the Cougars on skates out there in the secondary. Oh, my goodness.
Yes, he did. Only 1 minute on that drive. Ballantyne with his first rush of the day gets 86 big yards. Cougars couldn't contain him. So Ballantyne gets the touchdown, but it's coming back. We have to take a look. Ballantyne's going to come back, and they're going to call illegal motion.
Wow. What a tough penalty to wipe out that electric play from Ballantyne.
So we are clearing our scoreboard as we were taking a look at our information. Scott Ballantyne broke into the secondary, great blocking downfield, but instead it's illegal motion. So all that was for naught. So Scotty Ballantyne's 86-yard touchdown run was wiped out by the penalty.
Seemed like kind of a late call there on the illegal motion.
It absolutely did seem like a late call. I agree with the people upstairs here in the press box. Instead, it's going to now be 3rd down, ball resting on the 9-yard line, so we'll call it 3rd down and 16 yards to go. 3rd and 16 is the call. Ballantyne in the shotgun. He looks more than a little. He's looking at his wristband. His wristband says, "Don't go into illegal motion next time." Again, Andrean with wide receivers on both sides, twins on both sides, and running back joins him. So Ballantyne takes the snap. Now Ballantyne back to sling it. He throws a screen pass in the middle. Another good look. Cougars trying to wrap him up. Cougars sniffed it out. We'll call it a gain of 2 on the completed screen in the middle. Bolts with the reception, so call it a gain of 2. But Ballantyne's 86-yard run was nullified. It's going to be 4th down for the 59ers. Call it 4th down and probably about 14 yards to go. Ball's going to be on the 13-yard line. I guess he just got back to the original line of scrimmage, so we'll call it 4th down and 14. Ball on the 13. Clock winding at 4:44 to go. Cusack back to punt. He gets the punt away, and that's a beautiful spiral. Fair catch has been called for. Nice job by Zander to recognize. Zander receives that punt inside Andrean territory. It'll be Cougar ball. 1st and 10 on the 44-yard line. Looks like there might be a penalty flag on the field. They might make the Cougars might make them do it again. They're going to say, pick it up. Pick up the flag. Referee's raising his hand in the air, and he cares too there, Monty. So the ball's going to be on the 44-yard line. Excellent field position for the Cougars. Cougars in great shape right now, and they're looking pretty good out there. Andrean, you hope they weren't looking past Kankakee Valley because they've had KV's number for years.
Yeah, boy, it sure looks like it. Coach Skinner talked in the pregame show about making adjustments. After that first drive, they're going to need to make some adjustments. 3 negative plays to start the ball game.
So the clock starts with 4:36 to go in this first quarter of play. Kankakee Valley in great field position as they now have Swallow and Arroyo in the backfield. Zander on the near side, Deerdorf on the far side. Now it's to Arroyo. Arroyo's looking to air it out. He's got Zander out there, but it's going to be almost intercepted. Zander became a defensive back. Gavin Jones on the coverage over there, and Arroyo had a better chance of connecting with Jones than he did with Lane Zander, but Zander looks like he's coming up a little limp in there.
Really did look like Jones was almost the intended target the way that ball was thrown out there.
I'll tell you what, if I could throw a pass like that, I could have been somebody. So the Cougars come back to the line. Grayley Weaver into the ballgame as well as Eichmann. So they're two starting wide receivers on the sidelines. Cougars just trying to deal with the heat. It's going to get hot this week. Arroyo takes the snap with 4:29 to go. They gave it to Castro, and Castro gets swallowed up for a loss of 3. So Castro with a loss of 3. So with that loss of 3, it's going to be 3rd down and 13. Castro got brought in by Murray with the stop. 3rd down and 13. Ball is going to be at the 48-yard line. Clock continues to run with 4 minutes to go in this first quarter of play. Cougars going in the wrong direction. They're not going north and south, and they're even going a little bit east and west. This time they're going west to east, which is backwards on this field. Deerdorf on the near side. Weaver on the far side. Arroyo gets the snap. Now he rolls to his left. Arroyo trying to elude coverage, and he can't. Arroyo thrown to the ground with authority. That's going to be a loss of 12 for Arroyo. Cougars absolutely going in the wrong direction. That 3 and out, that drive nets negative 15 yards.
Nowhere to go there for Arroyo as J.J. Bowles came unblocked right at him.
J.J. Bolts came into this ballgame with 11 tackles and 6 solos. He had 1 tackle for loss and 1 sack. You can double both of those numbers. He's got 2 TFLs and 2 sacks now. Back to receive for the Andrean 59ers is Micah Jones. Micah Jones, their return specialist. He's got a touchdown on kick returns. He's got 283 yards on kick returns. Oh, and the punt is blocked. Arroyo's punt is blocked, and it's retrieved. Down the field they go. It's going to be a touchdown, 59ers. Jimmy Finley blocked the kick. Finley blocked the kick of Arroyo, scooped up his own block kick, and took it all the way to the house. It's a touchdown, Andrean.
One-man show as Finley blocks it up into the air, comes down with it, strolls into the end zone for 6.
So Finley gets the touchdown on special teams. It's a blocked punt for Arroyo. Ball went straight up in the air. Finley recovered it. Arroyo could not make the tackle. And at 2:53 to go in our first quarter of play, 6-0 Andrean with the lead.
Wasn't really Arroyo's fault there as the offensive line was just overwhelmed, came right through. He had no time to get that punt off.
Nice job by Finley to have a presence of mind to retrieve the ball. Andrean having a little bit of trouble. They don't have their entire kicking team out. Time clock hasn't started yet. They go ahead and wind the clock now. So the Niners have got all kinds of time. Remember, if they get close, they're in the Family Express red zone. Snap to Ballantyne on the way. Cusack with the kick on the way. It's up, and it's good. So after the block punt and the touchdown, our score is the Andrean 59ers 7, Kankakee Valley 0. Take a quick 60 and come back on Regional Radio Sports.
Tech Credit Union is the better option for personal and business banking in the region. They're open to the community and ready to meet your financial needs. You owe it to yourself to take a look. Tech Credit Union offers the latest banking and loan services, but without the big bank fees. To learn more, visit www.techcu.org or call them at 1-800-276-8324. That's 1-800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union is an equal housing lender and federally insured by NCUA.
NITCO is proud to support athletes around Northwest Indiana. Residents of Jasper and Newton County, you may qualify for up to 100 megabits of high-speed broadband from NITCO and the best Wi-Fi experience ever with our new Wi-Fi Plus. Also new is our NITCO IPTV television service. Go for the win with NITCO's infinitely friendlier customer service when ordering. Call 219-996-2981 or on the web at nitco.com and be connected. Always at NITCO.
2:53 to go in this first quarter of play. Blocked punt by Mr. Finley. Jimmy Finley with the blocked punt. Got the blocked punt and took it all the way back to the house. Had the presence of mind to block the punt and then retrieve his own block. Arroyo couldn't corral that young man, and so just like that, the Andrean 59ers with their first lead of the season, 7-0. Here comes Cusick's kick. It's on the way. Now they're taking it over to the right side of the field. Again, it's going to be in the hands of 21, Eichmann. Eichmann trying to get to the outside. He does. Eichmann's got a look. Oh, it's a nice open field tackle out there.
Eichmann went from one end of the field to the other. He's eventually dragged down.
So the Cougars are going to start 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line. Tackle was made by number 23 for Andrean, as I again try to take a look, and he looked like he was just laboring a little bit. Jaden Holmes with a good stop there on that special teams play. So Cougars are going to start out 1st and 10 on the 30. So they're on their 30-yard line. 2:44 to go in this first quarter of play. Cougars trail 7-0. Great defensive play by Jimmy Findlay. So Arroyo barks out the signals, hands it inside to Castro. Weaver. Weaver bounces to the outside. It actually is Castro. 22 and 23. It gets me a little confused. Call that a gain of 7. I'll call it a gain of 8.
Great job by number 84, Braden Swallow, out there on the left end of the line, securing the edge, allowing Castro to run.
Castro got the read to the outside, and the defenders are getting penetration up the line. Cougars are just putting their foot in the ground and stepping outside. 2:38 to go in this first quarter of play. 2nd down and 2. Ball rests on the 39-yard line as Kistler comes to the near side. They've got split receivers on the right. Deerdorf and Eichmann. We haven't seen Xander, so maybe Xander's injured. They get the pitch option. Good inside block. Castro tries to get some punishment in there. He does. He'll get a gain of 4 and a first down, Kankakee Valley.
Great pitch by Diego Arroyo. Held onto the ball just as long as he could. Flips it out to Castro to gain 6.
And Lane Xander is laboring over on that sideline. You can take a look at him on the far side, just behind the referee who just wound his arm. He's limping just a little bit.
Boy, that'd be a really big loss for this team.
So Xander trying to walk it off. Split receivers on the left-hand side now. Deerdorf is in the slot along with Eichmann. Swallow and Castro. Bracket Arroyo. Now it's a read option. Arroyo in trouble again, and he's taken down. Arroyo is taken down for a loss of 7.
That play was going nowhere from the get-go. Just defenders galore in the backfield.
And there might be a flag on the play. Let's take a look. They're going to see if maybe it was forward progress. The referees are taking a look, and they're discussing. I don't know what they could be discussing because Arroyo faked the handoff and they went backwards.
I think the referee might have been bamboozled himself. I think he thought Swallow, the fullback, had the ball.
Bamboozled, huh? Okay. We're going to say bamboozled. That's the word of the day, bamboozled. Again, don't forget that when you get inside the 20, you're in the Family Express red zone. They're going to mark the spot, and they're going to say that Arroyo lost. And again, they're discussing it. I can't believe they're taking this much time to discuss.
I really do believe
a loss.
That's what happened. I think he blew the whistle when the fullback went to grab the ball, and Arroyo pulled it back.
So the inadvertent whistle would stop the play where they mark it, so the referee is going to try to figure it out. Fred Schub, I think, is our referee today, if I'm not mistaken. It's a good guess on my part. I've seen Fred Schub on a basketball court, and that is Fred Schub. As soon as I see the run over to the sideline, it is absolutely Fred Schub. He's our lead official. If you want to be an official, go to ihsaa.org and click the word officials. You can join Fred Schub and his friends and be a professional. Don't be an amateur in the stands. Go to ihsaa.org and click the word officials. And Fred Schub is explaining it. I'll tell you a quick Fred Schub story. I was coaching at Hammond Morton. It was senior night. We were out of timeouts. We were getting killed. And Fred Schub stopped and called an official's timeout to tie his shoes to let us get our last senior into the ball game.
Wow.
Class act if there ever was one, Fred Schub.
This is a big drive here for the Cougars. After that block punt, important to respond here, keep the ball, gain some momentum, see what they can do here.
Fred Schub talking to the referees is being brought to you by Cuban Networks when it comes to your technological needs. Cuban Networks cares about your quality of experience. They're located at 103 Polk Street in LaPorte. They want to build client relationships that withstand the test of time and changing technology. You can buy technology from anywhere, but Cuban Networks' dedication to making your purchase a great one is the difference you have been looking for. Call them at 219-369-4357 or visit them online at qubitnet.com. Cuban Networks, moving and storing data fast and safe. And don't forget, your future is waiting at Ivy Tech Lake County. From information technology to healthcare, automotive to hospitality, Ivy Tech Lake County has programs designed to get you where you need to be so you're ready for the job that you want. They have new classes starting in October, so come on in and register today. Call them at 219-392-3600 or visit ivytech.edu/Lake County to enroll today. Your future begins this fall, and it begins at Ivy Tech Lake County. So it is what happened. It was an inadvertent whistle, so the The play was ruled dead, so Castro's loss of 12 becomes a no gain. And we'll see how this helps out the Kankakee Valley Cougars. Cougars are now 2nd and 15. Ball on the 38-yard line. Clock now winding at 1:35. Tight formation. And they have motion, and, of course, it's Weaver on the outside. Weaver slipped and put his hand down like he was going into a three-point stance. Referee said, "I don't think so, young man." So Weaver gets a motion penalty. It'll be a loss of 5. That'll push the Cougars back and make it 2nd down and 20. Ball now on the 33-yard line of the Kankakee Valley Cougars at 1:29. Clock still winds. Play clock at 20. Game clock at 1:25. Mason Kitchen brings out the offensive line. Weaver on the right side. Maybe Weaver was going to get the ball. He was just a little antsy. Arroyo's got Castro on his right hip. He's got Deerdorf on the near side. Arroyo back to pass again. He tries to swing it to the outside. Now he airs it out. Gets it over the hands of Kistler, and it is intercepted. They're going to say, no, it was on the ground. No, it is not. It's intercepted.
Jimmy Finley there with the pick.
Jimmy Finley making a strong bid to be our player of the game.
Sure is. That block punt and now an interception for the young man.
So Finley with a block punt on the last drive and an interception on this drive. No return as he just got it off the turf. So Finley with the INT, Arroyo's interception, stops that drive. Cougars going nowhere, but here come the Niners. They've got the ball 1st and 10 on the Kankakee Valley 48-yard line. Their own 48.
Kistler was open there, just simply an overthrow from Arroyo.
Arroyo zigged when he should have zagged. Ballantyne's got trips receivers on the left. He's got Finley on the right. Let's see if he tries it to air it out to Finley. You've got an interception, a block punt. Let's see if we can get a touchdown pass. Finley is open if they want him, and they go deep to Finley. That's exactly the idea. Finley with a reception all the way down to the 10-yard line. Give Finley a gain of 42 yards.
This guy is doing it in all 3 parts of the ball game.
I think I should be an offensive coordinator because I called that one.
You did.
I absolutely called that. Finley gathers the ball. It's at the 9-yard line. And when that ball is on the 9-yard line, Family Express Red Zone in play. Remember our friends at Family Express and Craven's to order. You're in the Family Express Red Zone.
It's about a 50-yard pickup there.
Ballantyne barking out the signals, and there's legal motion for number 72 for Andrean. And Metro. James wanted to get outside. He's a 5'10", 190-pound junior. Metro trying to get his start better than he should have. It's a 5-yard loss. We'll call it 1st down and goal to go.
A lot of penalties here on both sides so far to start the game. Hopefully both teams can settle in here as we come near to the end of the first quarter.
Still here in the Family Express Red Zone. Find them on the web at familyexpress.com. So Ballantyne looks for an inside handoff, and he gets it, but the Cougars are sniffing it out. There's Deerdorf, and Deerdorf says, no, thank you. It's going to be a loss of 2.
Deerdorf snuffed that out in a hurry.
In a hurry. So Deerdorf sniffed out that run. It was Ellis Dumas on the handoff. Dumas with a loss of 3.
First carry of the game there for Dumas.
That's the end of 1 quarter of play, and our score, Kankakee Valley trailing the Andrean 59ers by a score of 6-0. Go ahead and take a quick 1-minute timeout, and when we come back, we'll have our 2nd quarter of play. At the end of 1, 6-0 Andrean with the lead here on Regional Radio Sports.
If it's your day to bring snacks, making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
CI Insurance is a proud corporate sponsor of all KV athletics. Please visit their offices in DeMont, Rensselaer, or Lowell. They have been family-owned and operated in part of our community since 1953. Check them out online at ciinsurance.com.
Loves his coffee. Raised in the region and values great quality for a great price. Jeff knows Family Express carefully sources its espresso beans from around the world, giving him a high-quality drink that won't bust his wallet. Fresh milk lattes, all-natural flavorings, a perfect cup every time. Family Express, Quality espresso made for you.
Back here at Andrean High School, Andrean 59ers aired the ball out with a 42-yard reception from Ballantyne to Jenkins. Jenkins has been the story of this ball game so far. He's got a blocked punt. He's got a 42-yard reception. He's got an interception. I think he might have driven the bus here today as well.
I think he did.
And receivers are tightening up. It'll be Jenkins on the line. Ballantyne's got a motion man coming to the near side. Jenkins is on the far side. Look for them to look for Jenkins on this play. Ballantyne looks to the right. He airs it out through the middle. It's tipped almost incomplete, and it is. Jones with the attempt there. Jones tried to gather that, and Ballantyne might have thrown it through him if he had the opportunity. They said Ballantyne's a lot bigger this season. Gained an inch over the summer. It looks like you grew a little bit too, Monty. Maybe I'm just short and getting old, but Monty, you're looking a lot taller than you did last year.
I appreciate it. I don't know about all that, but we'll see.
You don't know about all of that. Niners come out to the line, 3rd and 16. Clock stopped with 11:56 to go in our second quarter play. Trying to add on to their 7-0 lead. Here comes the motion man, and it is Jenkins. Trips receivers on the left. Ballantyne. Here comes the pressure. It's a screen in the middle, and they go to Jenkins. It's a reception. Kistler's got that tackle. Give him a gain of 5 on that bubble screen underneath.
Finley ran into his own man there, Gavin Renfro, before it being able to come up with that ball. Great concentration to look back up. The ball kind of found him.
So it looks like the Niners might be going for the field goal. Actually, yes, they are. They're going to bring out their field goal kicker. P.J. Cusick has not attempted a field goal this season. He's 0 for 0, 1 for 4, actually now 2 for 5 on PATs. So it's going to be a 35-yard attempt for Cusick. So the snapper for the Niners is number 10, Cole Jenkins.
Some laundry on the field
There's some laundry on the field, and they're going to call it an illegal substitution against Kankakee Valley. Oh, this may change things a little bit. They're going to walk off 5 yards. So now the brain trust on the sidelines for the Niners have got to make a decision as the ball's back now at the 6. We'll call it the 7-yard line. Kankakee Valley can't get their stuff together on the sideline as Deerdorf wants to come in, then he doesn't. Cusack still going to attempt the field goal. Now it's going to be an attempt at 27 yards. Cusack, this is a chip shot. Snap comes from Jenkins. Down from the hold from Ballantyne. The kick is up, and it's right through the uprights. It's good.
This kid's got a little bit of a leg on him.
Just a little bit. So the field goal is good. Extends the lead to 10-0. We'll take a quick 60 and be back. 10-0. Andrean with the lead on Regional Radio Sports.
For a quarter century, Forest Ridge Family Dentistry in Schererville has been serving the dental, cosmetic, and restorative needs of Northwest Indiana and the Chicagoland suburbs. Most dental insurances are accepted and financing options are available. I have put my trust in their skilled hands since 1986. So why don't you schedule that appointment today at 219-756-2345 or look them up on the web at forestridgefamilydentistry.com. Mention that you heard this ad and receive a special discount at Forest Ridge Family Dentistry, 7303 Forest Ridge Drive in Schererville for all your dental needs.
It's time you start earning more on your deposits. Tech Credit Union's Money Mover Savings and Certificates of Deposit can help you do just that. Offering better than competitive rates and the personal service you deserve, now is a great time to look at your savings strategy. Let Tech Credit Union show you why they're a better option for you and for your money. Learn more at www.techcu.org or call 1-800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Back here at Andrean High School, 10-0. Andrean with the lead. Cougars are basically having a little bit of trouble. They went ahead and went for the field goal. I'm kind of a little surprised Chris Skinner maybe didn't try to go for the touchdown there, Monty.
Yeah, maybe early, take the points, build on your lead here. I'm eager to see how the Cougars respond. Too many negative run plays, too many penalties here, shooting themselves in the foot to start a lot of drives.
So Cusack, after the 27-yard field goal, is ready to kick it away. Zander back in the ballgame, Eichmann in front, so they're on top of each other. Now they try to switch it, and they're going to go to the side with Lane Zander. Zander's going to get his first opportunity. He gets the ball at the 10, call it to 15, 20, 25, Xander off to the races. Xander in the secondary, and then Cusack makes the tackle, but he got a gain of 28 yards on that return. Park him at the 38-yard line. It's going to be first 10 and down and 10 KV.
If I were a kicker, I'd start kicking away from Xander. Man, that guy can return the ball. He's got great vision.
Yes, he does, and he probably gets his glasses the same place I do. Lane Xander with 6 kickoff returns for 155 yards. Now I had that other one for 28 yards, makes it 7 for 183. He does have that long touchdown. Grayley Weaver to the near side, and on the far side is Deerdorf. Xander on the sidelines now after that nice kick return. 10:48 to go in this first half of play. Castro gets the handoff and breaks into the secondary. Castro fights forward for a hard-fought 1 yard. So Castro gets a gain of 1 on that offside handoff. Jenkins is having a heck of a ball game as he got the tackle on that play.
Just really nowhere to go for Castro. Nothing really developing there.
So Marco Castro so far this season, 36 rushes for 228 yards. He's got 2 consecutive 100-yard gains. 2nd and 8, ball on the 39-yard line. 10:16 to go. Castro again in the secondary. Castro still moves forward. The pile moves. It's going to be first down Cougars. 8-yard gain for Castro. Oh, my goodness.
Helped out by a couple other Niners.
Castro, 8 carries so far in the ball game, up to 39 yards on the ground.
Zeke Gray got the ankles and got drugged. Zeke Gray comes off the field and says, Coach, I think he tore my glove off, as Zeke Gray comes out of the play, and their defensive line coaches are talking about how Zeke Gray got a hold of him, and he's got his hands in the air and his palms up saying, Coach, I don't understand. So Weaver to the near side along with Deerdorf. Handoff inside to Castro. Castro again breaks contain. Give Castro a gain of almost 5. Marco Castro doing work on this drive.
He certainly is. Castro, a bell cow back, getting the ball almost every time back.
Ding, ding. Bell cow. 9:29 to go in our second quarter of play. You can't laugh, you can't have fun. 2nd and 6, ball on the 48-yard line. Cougars back in Andrean territory. They've done a lot of work, but they don't have a lot to show for it. As Deerdorf is on the near side, Xander back in the ball game on the far side. Swallow leading the run for Arroyo. Arroyo gets into the secondary. Arroyo gets tripped up, but he might have gotten the yard to gain. Arroyo with a little bit of a push there. Holmes with the tackle for Andrean. Castro almost got the line to gain. He's about a yard short. Put the ball on the 44-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Arroyo with a really good read there in the read option game. DN crashed down. He went outside to the right, picked up a good 5 yards.
So, Monty, what would you do here? Would you maybe play action? It looks like it's actually going to be 3rd down and 2, so now maybe that's a moot point as Eichmann makes sure he's okay, and Deerdorf goes to the far side, look to get the handoff to Castro on an inside dive. Niners look like they're going to blitz, and they do. They get it to Castro. Castro cuts back. Castro in the secondary. He's down to the 30-yard line. It's a first down Cougars. Give him a gain of 12.
To answer your question, Vince, I would have done exactly what they just did. Hand the ball to Castro and let him cook.
That's the 2nd time today that I've done that, so I think I'll be playing lottery numbers at the end of the night. 8 minutes and 20 seconds to go in our second quarter of play. Cougars in business, 1st and 10 on the 29-yard line. They need to put something in the end zone here. Weaver on the far side with Deerdorf in the slot. Swallow to the left, Castro to the right. Arroyo barking out the signals. Here comes the snap to Arroyo. Arroyo hands it again to Castro. Castro with that high running style. He gets tripped up, but he got 3 on that gain. Zeke Gray with the shot, with the stop. Again, no relation. Zeke Gray's huge, too, man.
He is big kid.
It's like you and me standing next to each other, and Zeke Gray's is just I had an Uncle Zeke, but Uncle Zeke was a diminutive man. He wasn't that big. 7:39 to go in our second quarter of play. Ball on the 27-yard line. Kankakee Valley trailing 10-7, but they're on the move. Expect the Cougars behind. Kitchen to hand the ball again to Marco Castro. Deerdorf on the near side. Xander on the far side. Castro on the left hip. Look for the handoff. No, it's a play-action pass. He's got all kinds of time. He's got a man. Deerdorf was open, but again, just a little bit overthrown. Good defense down the field by Andrean. Again, another great defensive play in the defensive back by Jaden Holmes.
Arroyo pump faked, had to put a little bit of air under it. The safety was kind of cutting underneath that route. He ended up just overthrowing him.
So on this drive so far, that's the 7th play, and of that 7th play, that's the first pass. So again, Diego Arroyo with a little hesitation. Indecision was the wrong decision. Eichmann to the far side. Deerdorf to the near side as here come the Cougars. Castro again, the single back on the right hip of Arroyo. 7 minutes and 12 seconds to go. 3rd and 7 on the 27. Play clock down to 5. They hand it again to Castro. Castro breaks contained to the outside, but he gets wrapped up. Nice job by the Niners. Excellent job on the outside with Ellis Dumas making the stop. Castro fought forward for a gain of 3. It looked like he had an outside run, but it was not there. Dumas with the stop on another gain of 3. So Castro, will have to take a look at those stats later on today and see what Castro's numbers look like. Castro making a strong bid to be our Kankakee Valley Route 1 Chevy Players of the Game. Don't forget, at the end of tonight's ball game, bring you our Players of the Game, brought to us by Route 1.
Something to keep an eye on, too. The officials just had a small talk with Zeke Gray as him and Kitchen had a little bit of an extracurricular contact. Gray went flying. See what happens there going forward.
So, again, a split backfield, and there's a flag on the play. Actually, it's going to be a timeout, Andrean. Timeout on the field. 6:26 to go, second quarter of play. Kankakee Valley trailing 10-0. We're back in 60 on Regional Radio Sports. Route 1 Chevrolet is proud to support Northwest Indiana high school athletics, as well as serve the new and pre-owned vehicle and service needs of customers in Northwest Indiana. Over the past decade, Route 1 Chevrolet in Momence, Illinois, has consistently received the highest sales and service customer satisfaction ratings of any General Motors dealer in all of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Their customers have made them number 1. When you think of what is important to you, think of number 1, Route 1. Route 1 is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. Route 1 is conveniently located at 631 North Dixie Highway in Momence, Illinois. Route 1 is 10 minutes from Lowell, 15 minutes from Cedar Lake, and 20 minutes from DeMott. In all cases, Northwest Indiana customers are only moments from Momence. Route 1 can be reached at 815-424-6068 and can be found on the web at Route1Chevy.com. 6:26 to go in our second quarter play. 4th down and 4. Cougars are going to go for it. Pass to Castro. Castro can't break contain. He gets into the secondary. He gets wrapped up, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. Castro lost a yard and looked like he got his foot turned up underneath him, so it's going to be a loss on downs. Ball's going to turn over to the Andrean 59ers.
The Niners timed that snap perfectly. We're almost in the backfield simultaneous with the snap.
It's almost like they scouted. It's going to be 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line, on Andrean's own 25-yard line. 6:19 to go in this second quarter of play. Jimmy Finley blocked a punt early in this ball game. In this quarter, Finley blocked that punt, took the ball back for the touchdown. And then Cusack with a 27-yard field goal, 10-0, Andrean with the lead. As a trio of wide receivers split out for the Niners. Ballantyne takes his time, but instead he's going to fake pump. Kistler on the outside goes to the outside. What a great look. All kinds of time for Ballantyne. He completed that pass. Called a gain of 12 on that completion from Ballantyne. So 12 yards on that completion for Ballantyne. And that completion was to Cole Jenkins. Cole Jenkins with a great reception on the outside. So give Jenkins 12 yards and a first down.
That was great play there by Ballantyne. Just extreme veteran presence to get out of the pocket and make a play.
A lot of strength, too, because he was throwing, he was going opposite.
He was.
Second timeout taken by the Andrean 59ers. We'll take it as well. 6:11 to go in this second quarter of play. Andrean with the lead 10-0 on Regional Radio Sports.
Nitco is proud to support athletes around Northwest Indiana. Let Nitco bring you the best in-home Wi-Fi experience ever. Our new Nitco Wi-Fi Plus creates a perfect Wi-Fi experience. It's adaptable. It has a motion detector built in and also has child protection controls, all for just $12.95 per month. Order Nitco Wi-Fi Plus today. Call 219-996-2981 or on the web at nitco.com and be connected. Always at Nitco.
It's time you start earning more on your deposits. Tech Credit Union's Money Mover Savings and Certificates of Deposit can help you do just that. Offering better than competitive rates and the personal service you deserve, now is a great time to look at your saving strategy. Let Tech Credit Union show you why they're the better option for you and your money. Learn more at www.techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA. 6:11 to go in the second quarter of play. 1st and 10, ball on the 37 as here comes motion. They're going to flip it to the motion man. Cougars trying to sniff it out. They string him out to the outside. Good job by Kankakee Valley. Jones with the carry. Got a gain of maybe a yard, yard and a half, yard and 3/4. Called a gain of 1 for Jones.
2nd and 8.
2nd down and 9. I'm going to argue with the public address right now. 2nd and 9. Ball on the 38-yard line. It's like a yard and a half. You know what I'm saying?
It was.
Get out my abacus and my quill pen and try to make that work out. Ball's on the 38-yard line. Clock continues to wind. 5:38 to go in our second quarter of play. Don't forget to join us at halftime for our Route 1 Chevy halftime report. As now as trips receivers to the near side. Ballantyne again barking out the signals. He's back to pass. Here comes the pressure. It's another bubble screen. Bubble screen underneath. Cougars kind of figured it out, but he's going to fight forward. So the pass is complete to 42, Ethan Reyna. He's a freshman, 6 foot, 205 pounds. Give Reyna a gain of 11. It's enough for an Andrean first down.
Perfect time to call a screen there as a lot of D linemen crash downhill. Reyna right in the open, make the play, keep running.
He does keep running. That's pretty cool. 5 minutes and 6 seconds to go as again trips receivers to the near side. For the Andrean 59ers, it's Jones, Finley, and Jenkins. In the backfield, it's Dumas. Oh, ball on the carpet, and here comes Ballantyne. He gets swallowed up. Nice job by the Cougars. Give that sack to Kistler. Kistler with a huge play. Going to be a loss of 10.
Bad snap, and Kistler was right there, quick to make a play.
So Kistler gets the sack. We'll call it a sack for Kistler. Another rushing attempt. 2nd down and 20. Ball all the way back to the 37-yard line. Kankakee Valley trying to stay in this ball game. They've had one good half in most ball games and one poor half. This half, a little bit of suspect for them so far, but the Cougars trying to hang on. Trips receivers to the left. Quick pass from Ballantyne. He gets it out to the man, Jenkins. Jenkins running into the secondary. Jenkins may have gotten 3 yards back, but there's that Kankakee Valley Brad Stewart defense that says only so far you can go. Give him a gain of 2.
Smart to get the ball in the hands of Finley again. He's been making plays everywhere, but really nowhere to go.
Jimmy Finley with the reception. Coming off the field is going to be Dumas. Checking into the ball game for the Niners on the near side in the slot is Logan Urbanek, 5'9" sophomore. 3:33 to go in the second quarter play. 3rd down, 17. Ball on the 37-yard line. They've got to get to the KV 44 to gain the first down. Here's the snap to Ballantyne with the trips on the left. He's got time and he airs it out deep, and he's got a man. He's wide open. He just overthrew him. That was an incomplete pass. He had him wide open, and that was Cole Jenkins that got to the secondary. But Cole Jenkins with the incomplete pass makes it 4th down and 17. Puts the Niners back into punt position. Here comes Cusack.
Boy, Ballantyne throws a pretty ball, doesn't he?
He really does. He's a senior, and last year, you remember, he got injured very early in the season. Their backup quarterback took them all the way to the state finals. Ballantyne got to play in the state championship game, but I think it would have been a different game if Ballantyne had had an entire season for the Niners. Here's the snap to Cusack, almost blocked by Deerdorf. Instead, he gets it away. Ball's rolling towards Zander. Zander gets to the outside. Zander's got a wall. He's at the 25. He's up to the 30. And Zander keeps the ball on the ground. So Zander, give him a gain, another 12 on that punt return. That was dangerous, but Lane Zander, he's taking a chance, trying to give the Cougars a spark.
Nice play by Zander to catch the ball off of a tough bounce, rolled friendly for the 59ers, picks it up, makes something happen.
He had a man in his pocket, so they're going to start out on their own 31-yard line with just 3 minutes and 2 seconds to go in this first half of play. Kankakee Valley's had good offensive opportunities, but they trail in this ball game 10-0. Jimmy Finley had a blocked punt and took it back 15 yards for a touchdown. Then also Cusack with a 27-yard field goal, his first of the year. Now Castro out in the slot. He's got Deerdorf. He receives it, and he's hit immediately on the outside. Guess who made the tackle? You want to guess?
Jimmy Finley.
That could be correct.
Yep.
Might be Finley. Also might have been Donsbach, too. 7 yards is the gain on that quick pass out there. Cougars have got to get moving. Kankakee Valley trying to get the big mo going into halftime. They'll be on defense first. They played well defensively. A little bit better than we've expected. Snap back to Arroyo. Arroyo again trying to clear it out. Now Arroyo's going to go into break contain. Arroyo's got to get outside. He's got to get rid of the ball, but he doesn't. Ball is loose on the carpet, and they're going to say it's a fumble. And it's recovered by the Andrean 59ers.
Arroyo just trying to do too much with the ball there. He's got to eat that one, throw it away, go down something. But he really just gave it right to him.
So fumble loss, and it's going to be J.J. Bolts with the fumble recovery. So the fumble recovery to J.J. Bolts on the Arroyo fumble.
Boy, Bowles is someone who's played a nice game, both sides of the ball.
He absolutely has. Niners take over on the 34-yard line after that miscue. 2 minutes and 18 seconds. So they're on the KV 33, we'll call it, yard line. After the fumble, 2 minutes and 18 seconds to go in our first half of play. Here come the Niners. And into the ball game in the backfield will be J.J. Bolts. Let's see if they go to Bolts. They did it last time when Finley made the big play. Now Bolts comes in motion. He's going to be the wingman on the right side. Trips receivers with Bolts on the right. Receiver to the near side as well. Ballantyne takes the snap. He's looking for a quick pitch out there. Good job by the Cougars to sniff that out. No gain. Jenkins with the reception. Call it a gain of 0. Xander with the tackle on that. Lane Xander's playing very well defensively.
Xander came through a few blocks downhill to make that tackle.
Downhill. That's how I went to school. Uphill, both ways in the snow in the wintertime. 1:53 with the clock running. We're having a lot of fun here on the Northwest Indiana High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Route 1 Chevy. Nick Shallon is upstairs giving you the sights, and down here it's me and Monty Lobb giving you the sounds. As Dumas is on the left hip of Ballantyne. Looked like there was motion, but no call. Here comes the motion man. Instead, it's going to be a fake handoff. Ballantyne, there's pressure coming through. Now Ballantyne breaks contain. Ballantyne, there's a flag on the play. Ballantyne doesn't make the marker.
I believe they're going to get Bowles for a holding there.
I think it's going to be holding, so from the spot of the foul. Let's see where the call is. It'll be a 10-yard walk-off. Ballantyne's shown a lot with his legs.
He has.
That was a gain of 10.
Air the ball out. He can really get outside of the pocket and make plays with his feet as well.
Ballantyne with an opportunity to play at the next level. They're going to mark it off from the spot of the foul. Holding is the call on the Andrean 59ers.
That'll be a hold on the Niners. Back them up 10 from the spot.
So the spot was just at the line of scrimmage, so they're going to walk off 10 from that spot. So the flag came in the secondary, but they must have seen something to see what was going to happen. They'll walk off 10, so it'll be second down and 21 yards to go. Second and 21, ball on the 45-yard line. Niners have got to get to the 24-yard line for the yard to gain. And, hey, you know, Monty, I want to give a quick shout-out to my dad, Max Gray. He spent a little bit of time in the emergency room today getting up there in age, and he said, you know, he's going to live forever, and I have a feeling that he might. But he spent a little time in the ER today. Thinking of you today, Dad. Hope you're listening in on Regional Radio Sports. Ballantyne's going to take the snap at 1:13. Here comes Jenkins in motion. Instead, here come the Cougars, and there's all kinds of pressure, but Ballantyne into the secondary. Ballantyne still on his feet. He's at the 20. He's out of bounds. Good job by Ballantyne. It looks like he's got enough for an Andrean first down.
Ballantyne did a great job stepping up in the pocket, eluding some defenders, and taking off.
Give Ballantyne a gain of 24 yards on that carry. Ballantyne gets the rush. Ballantyne should already have 120 yards, except that 86-yard scamper got pulled back.
That's just devastating for the Cougars after you have them backed up 21 yards and then give it all up in one play right there.
So Ballantyne is going to be in shotgun formation. So Ballantyne ready to take the snap. He lifts the leg in the air. Here comes Jenkins. Now Ballantyne back to pass. Ballantyne again trying to get clear. Throws it in the end zone. Touchdown, Niners!
Touchdown, Niners!
give the touchdown to the Andrean 59ers. So Ballantyne with the touchdown. Call it 21 yards on the reception. Niners get the touchdown.
Cole Jenkins on the receiving end.
Cole Jenkins on the end of that reception, and they got the touchdown into the Family Express red zone. And brought to us by our friends at Family Express and Craven's to order on the web, familyexpress.com. So 21-yard touchdown reception for Jenkins. Jenkins was all alone, and that miscue comes back to bite the Cougars with the extra point. They'll be trailing 17-0. Snap, kick on the way, and it's good.
Finley's been the star wideout so far for Andrean, but Cole Jenkins also 2 catches for 33 yards.
And a touchdown. We'll go ahead and take a 60-second timeout. 55 seconds to go in the first half. 17-0. Andrean in control here at Father Eckert Stadium and on Regional Radio Sports. Route 1 Chevrolet is proud to support Northwest Indiana High School athletics, as well as serve the new and pre-owned vehicle and service needs of customers in Northwest Indiana. Over the past decade, Route 1 Chevrolet in Momence, Illinois, has consistently received the highest sales and service customer satisfaction ratings of any General Motors dealer in all of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Their customers have made them number one. When you think of what is important to you, think of number one, Route 1. Route 1 is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. Route 1 is conveniently located at 631 North Dixie Highway in Momence, Illinois. Route 1 is 10 minutes from Lowell, 15 minutes from Cedar Lake, and 20 minutes from DeMott. In all cases, Northwest Indiana customers are only moments from Momence. Route 1 can be reached at 815-424-6068 and can be found on the web at route1chevy.com. Back here at Father Eckert Stadium, the Andrean 59ers with a 17-0 lead. Miscues have been the problem for the Kankakee Valley Cougars. A blocked punt. Diego Arroyo back to punt, but Jimmy Finley said not today. Blocked the punt, gathered his own block, and took it in the end zone. 7-0, Andrean with the lead. Then Finley had an interception on the next drive, and then Cusack had a 27-yard field goal as the Andrean 59ers took over on their own 48-yard line. J.J. Bolts recovered a fumble from Diego Arroyo, and they capitalized with a touchdown. 17-0 our score, and here's the end-over-end kick. Guess who? Lane Zander will pick it at the 2. Zander to the 15. Zander outside of the 20. And it's on the carpet. And Andrean's on the football again. Andrean 59ers have recovered it looks like.
That ball popped right out when he was turning past the 20-yard line.
So the Andrean 59ers, when they'll say that the 59ers recovered that kick return from Zander. The Cougars recovered it. That looked like it was in the breadbasket of an Andrean 59er. It sure did. Can't wait to get home and take a look at that replay. Remember, we're on delayed video tonight. As soon as this game is archived, you'll see the video on Regional Radio Sports with 47 seconds to go. 1st and 10 for KV on their own 22-yard line. Almost heartbreak hotel for them there. Arroyo's going to hand it to Castro. Ball again on the carpet. My goodness, the Kankakee Valley Cougars having all kinds of trouble. You wonder if the ball may have been greased a little bit.
It sure seems like it. They
sure
just want
does.
to get these last 39 seconds over without turning the ball over again.
Loss of 2 for Castro.
Niners take their third timeout.
Andrean 59ers are going to take a timeout. We will as well. 39 seconds to go in this first half of play. 17-0. Andrean with the lead. We're back in 60 on Regional Radio Sports.
Your hometown credit union. People helping people. First Trust Credit Union.
First Trust Credit Union can help you score big with a game plan to support all your financial needs. Our lineup includes accounts, loans, and 24/7 online banking. So get off the bench and contact your hometown First Trust Credit Union team today at 800-276-6161 or firsttrustcu.com.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things. like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
CI Insurance is a proud corporate sponsor of all KV athletics. Please visit their offices in DeMont, Rensselaer, or Lowell. They have been family-owned and operated in part of our community since 1953. Check them out online at ciinsurance.com.
Cougars are going to be happy to run out the clock as Castro is going to get charged for a 5-yard loss on that rushing attempt, and that's probably the hardest 5-yard loss he's ever had to deal with. Clock winds down. I don't think the Cougars are going to run another play. So at the half, Kankakee Valley is going to trail Andrean by a score of 17-0. They're just going to let the clock wind down as it gets down to the 0-0 mark, and we will have our first half come to an end. At the end of one half of play, our score is the Andrean 59ers 17, the Kankakee Valley Cougars 0. We'll go ahead and take a 2-minute video timeout. When we come back, we'll have our Route 1 Chevy halftime report. At the half, 17-0, Andrean with the lead on Regional Radio Sports.
Is the end of a Horizon Bank commercial. Why show the end of our commercial at the beginning of our commercial? We think you'll find Horizon does a lot of things differently than other banks. Horizon Bank. Get a conversation started. This is the end of a Horizon Bank commercial. Why show the end of our commercial at the beginning of our commercial? We think you'll find Horizon does a lot of things differently than other banks. Horizon Bank. Get a conversation started.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. Battles are won within. Over enemies of fear. Enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise of battles won.
Back here at Father Eckert Stadium, we're rocking the house at halftime as the Andrean dance team is performing. We'll take our graphics off the screen. At the half, it's 17-0, and you're in the Route 1 Chevrolet halftime report brought to us by our friends at Route 1 Chevrolet. Route 1 Chevrolet is happy to support Northwest Indiana High School athletics as well as serve the new and pre-owned vehicle and service needs of its customers in Northwest Indiana. Over the past decade, Route 1 Chevrolet in Momence, Illinois has consistently received the highest sales and service satisfaction ratings of any General Motors dealer in all of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Their customers have made them number one. When you think of what's important to you, you should think of number one, Route 1. Route 1 is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. Route 1 is conveniently located at 631 North Dixie Highway in Momence, Illinois. Route 1 is 10 minutes from Lowell, 15 minutes from Cedar Lake, and only 20 minutes from DeMont. In all cases, Northwest Indiana customers are only moments from Momence. Route 1 can be reached at 815-424-6068, and you can find them on the web at route1chevy.com. Again, that number, 815-424-6068. Our halftime drive chart also brought to us by our friends at Toppin Inc. Find my read for Toppin Inc. Toppin Inc. is family-owned remodeling and construction business specializing in remodeling projects, new construction, room additions, as well as siding, roofing, and replacement windows. Based in DeMont, they service Jasper and Newton counties, but they also service Bass Lake, Lake Maxinkuckee, Knox, and Culver, and they're an A-plus member of the Better Business Bureau. If you're seeking employment opportunities, their phone number 219-928-3106. You can find them on the web at toppininc.com. And Monty, are you ready with your halftime statistics brought to us by Toppin Inc.
I sure am. Let's run through them. You ready?
Let me get the drive chart done first. I'll let you get a chance to take the fire off the end of your pen there. Game began with the Kankakee Valley Cougars losing the opening coin toss, so Andrean deferred. Kankakee Valley got the ball, and they ran a drive at the beginning. They started on their 24-yard line, but they ended up having to punt the ball away, and when they did, they punted it to the Andrean 59ers, who took it over on the 16-yard line. In 1 minute, they had a Scott Ballantyne 86-yard run pulled back. They ended up having to punt the ball away back to the Kankakee Valley Cougars, who took over on the 44-yard line. But it was a 3-and-out for the Cougars, and Diego Arroyo went back to punt. But as our friend Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend, because Jimmy Finley blocked the punt. He gathered the ball at the 15-yard line, and he meandered into the end zone, and after the extra point from Cusack, it was 7-0 Andrean. Next drive, on the second play of that drive, Castro threw the ball to the wrong team. He threw it to Finley. Finley had an interception after that block punt. On the second play after the punt return, took the ball back to Andrean. Andrean got the ball and started to move at their own 48-yard line. The Andrean 59ers had 4 plays, and one of those plays was a 42-yard pass reception to, guess who? Jimmy Finley.
Yep.
And I actually called that. I will say that, Monty Log, when we go back and look at this game. I called the pass. I said they got to go to Finley. He's done way too much over the past couple of plays, and he did. It's a 42-yard pass reception, but the drive stalled, and Cusack converted on his first field goal of the season from 27 yards out. It was 10-0 Andrean. Kankakee Valley took over on their own 38-yard line and started to move the ball, actually their longest drive of this ball game. 9 plays, got them all the way up to midfield, but then they lost the ball on downs after they got into Andrean territory. They gave the ball back to the Niners. The Niners had to punt the ball away. But then on the ensuing punt return, the ball was put on the carpet, and J.J. Bolts got the recovery on the first play of the next drive. That fumble recovery out of the hands of Arroyo. Arroyo's had a little bit of trouble. At the beginning, he looked like he was in sync, but right now, a little bit of trouble. He put the ball on the ground, and that gave the Niners a chance with the ball on their own 33-yard line. It only took them 3 plays and 33 yards in 1 minute and 27 seconds, and it was Ballantyne to Cole Jenkins from 21 yards out. It all adds up to a 17-0 lead at the half. The rest of our halftime scoring statistics being brought to us by Toppin Inc.
All righty, Vince. Let's start off by taking a look at the Kankakee Valley Cougars passing attack. Diego Arroyo completed 3 of his 6 passes in the first half for a total of 10 yards, 1 interception there. In terms of the receivers, number 10, Lane Zander, 1 catch, -1 yard. Also, Eli Deerdorf, number 11, 1 catch, 7 yards. And Marco Castro out of the backfield, 1 catch for 4 yards. Looking at the Kankakee Cougars rushing attack, Marco Castro, 12 rushes, 57 yards, been getting a lot of carries. And then Arroyo himself, 4 carries, 19 yards, and a fumble. Now let's take a look at the Andrean passing attack with Scott Ballantyne. He's completed 11 of his 13 passes for 101 yards, 1 touchdown. Some of those receivers, number 10, Cole Jenkins, 2 catches for 33 yards and a touchdown. Number 11, Micah Jones, 4 catches for 2 yards. And then Jimmy Finley, the big player in the first half, 3 catches, 1 being that 42-yard deep ball for a total of 50 yards. J.J. Bowles with 1 catch for 2 yards, and Reyna with 1 catch for 11 yards. Taking a look at the rushing attack, only 2 rushes for the Niners in the first half. Number 1, Ellis Dumas, 1 rush, -3 yards. And then you remember, Vince, that first play early on, Ballantyne run called back for 86 yards. He only had 1 other carry for 24 yards.
So Ballantyne actually, it was feast or famine for Ballantyne. Ballantyne didn't have the opportunity. So Ballantyne got called back, and not a good thing. Our halftime scoring statistics also brought to us by our friends at Route 1 Chevy, and we remind you that we will be bringing you our Route 1 Chevy Players of the Game for both of the Kankakee Valley Cougars and the Andrean 59ers. Again, Route 1 Chevy, a proud sponsor of Indiana High School football and also a sponsor of Indiana High School soccer as well. Have a bunch of Indiana soccer next week on Regional Radio Sports. We'll talk about that upcoming schedule. And I will tell you, Monty, it's been a busy week for me. It's my 4th night in a row with a broadcast. 3 soccer games, Chesterton boys and girls on Tuesday. Chesterton girls on Tuesday. Boys on Wednesday. Last night, Munster took on Munster took on Lake Central. I mean, I've been doing so much work, I'm even forgetting what I'm saying. And then tonight we're here at Andrean. It's been a great week, but if you want to find out more about what we do at Regional Radio Sports, you can go to our website, rrsn.com, for time, scores, and a schedule and a listing of the Regional Radio Sports Network affiliate in your area. We'll go ahead and update our friends at Scoreboard Central, and we'll give you some of those Scoreboard Central updates. They're being brought to you by Countryside Realty. Today's game is being brought to you by Countryside Realty, the preferred realtor of the Kankakee Valley Cougars. Countryside's team of realtors is ready to handle your next real estate transaction with honesty, professionalism, and over 24 years of industry knowledge. Don't go unrepresented in one of the largest investments of your life. Call their DeMott office to speak with an agent at 219-987-SELL. That's 219-987-7355. You can visit Countryside Realty on the web at 987sell.com or find them on Facebook. Serving all of Northwest Indiana, Countryside Realty, where professionalism matters. We're also having our halftime scores from around the state being brought to us by the Hamster Group. For more than 50 years, the Hamster Group has established itself as a leader in the communities of Northwest Indiana and the surrounding areas. Whether it be the development of retail shopping centers, commercial offices, agricultural centers, municipal facilities, or a number of other property types, Hamster Builders has the answers to meet the needs of their customers and communities. Hamster Group in Wheatfield, for quality you can build on. Call them at 219-956-3111 or look them up on the web at hamstergroup.com. So here's some scores from Scoreboard Central as I'll update our score. We'll say 17-0. Andrean, if I learn how to talk here, that'll be really nice. Andrean at the half. So we'll update Scoreboard Central thanks to Fred Maxey for keeping us up to date. New Prairie 34-6. Let's update that. New Prairie 41-6 over the Little Red Devils in the second quarter. 41-6. Holy goodness, that's crazy. Crown Point leading Maryville 12-0 in the second quarter. Cathedral 35-0 over the Penn Kingsmen at the half. 28-0 Valparaiso in control against LaPorte. All of those games on the Regional Radio Sports Network. Rebuff with a 24-0 lead, 24-10 lead over Marion at the half, and all those games being carried on Regional Radio. I'm sure our friends at Scoreboard Central will give us updates from around the state as well. We're going to go ahead and take a 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we're going to get our Route 1 Chevy keys to the second half. At the half, Kankakee Valley trailing Andrean by a score of 17-0. And this game is here on Regional Radio Sports. Your future is waiting at Ivy Tech Lake County. From information technology to healthcare, automotive to hospitality, Ivy Tech Lake County has programs designed to get you where you need to be so you're ready for the job you want. They have new classes starting in October, so come in and register today. Call 219-392-3600 or visit ivytech.edu/Lake County and enroll today. Your future begins this fall at Ivy Tech Lake County. The 2023 Indiana Football Digest contains stories and pictures on over 320 high school teams and more than 20 college programs in the state. The 400-page publication breaks down the top players and teams to watch this fall, along with special features and human interest stories. The IFD is available online at indianafootballdigest.com. Our game is also being brought to us by personal injury attorney Dave Cox. Personal injury attorney Dave Cox proudly supports region football and wishes the Andrean 59ers and all our region teams best of luck this season. We hope you never need his services, but if you were hurt in a wreck, you should call Cox. Attorney Cox is a life member of the $1 Million Advocates Forum and is dedicated to representing seriously injured victims of negligence and getting fair and just results. For a free consultation and to discuss his best game plan in your case, call or text 219-CALL-COX, 219-225-5269. Or check him out online at davecoxlaw.com. The Cox Law Office, they're located at 8792 East Ridge Road, and that's in beautiful Hobart, Indiana.
Loves his coffee. Raised in the region and values great quality for a great price. Jeff knows Family Express carefully sources its espresso beans from around the world, giving him a high-quality drink that won't bust his wallet. Fresh milk lattes, all-natural flavorings, a perfect cup every time. Family Express, quality espresso made for you.
We develop quality citizens who keep our core, our country, and our communities side by side on the winning side. Not for glory, but for honor. For a code that isn't written or spoken, but lived. It's what we do. It's who we are. It's the battle cry of our fighting spirit. Battles won. See all the battles Marines fight to win at Marines.com.
Back here at rocking Father Eckert Stadium here on the campus of Andrean High School at the half, the Andrean 59ers with a 17-0 lead. And I look at the upcoming schedule on Regional Radio Sports for next week is being brought to us by the Hamster Group. For more than 50 years, the Hamster Group has established itself as a leader in the communities of Northwest Indiana and surrounding areas, whether it be the development of retail shopping centers, commercial offices, agricultural centers, municipal facilities, or a number of other property types. Hamster Builders has the answers to meet the needs of their customers and communities. Hamster Group in Wheatfield. For quality you can build on. Call them at 219-956-3111 or look them up on the web at hamstergroup.com. Well, hopefully Tuesday night, depending on the weather, we'll have a soccer game here on Regional Radio Sports Network, and we'll also have a big slate of football on Friday night. Next up for the 59ers, they're going to go on the road at Munster to meet the for the 59ers, they will be at Munster to meet up with the Mustangs, while KV will be at home. That'll be our Northwest Indiana game of the week, brought to us by Route 1 Chevrolet. They'll take on the Hobart Brickies. That game starts at 6:15 Central with a kickoff slated at 7 p.m. here on RRSN.com video and audio. That game is one of four we'll have next week on September the 8th on the Regional Radio Sports Network. In addition to our game, we'll also have Hammond Morton traveling to Penn, Michigan City at Valpo, and Lowell will head over to Hanover Central to take on the newest member of the NCC, the Hanover Central Wildcats. Be sure to check our website, rrsn.com, for time, schedules, and a listing of the Regional Radio Sports Network affiliate in your area as we continue our positive promotion of student athletes, and all of these games will be archived on our website, rrsn.com. And Monty, we're on video delay tonight, so when we get home, we're going to get a chance to see the work of Nick Shallon. Right now, if you're watching or listening to us live, it's audio-only stream, but as soon as we archive the game, we'll have a video stream as well. But give me your impressions of the first half. Andrean, as I probably predicted in our pre-interview or pre-game meeting, I said the Andrean 59ers were going to come out angry, and unfortunately for KV, they're going to start the second half on defense. Andrean already with a 17-0 lead.
Yeah, they sure have, and Andrean hasn't necessarily been all that sharp offensively, but defensively they have swallowed the Cougars up, making everything hard to come by, forcing penalties, putting the ball on the carpet, just swarming D from Andrean to start the ball game.
For the Kankakee Valley Cougars, it's always a tale of two halves, and I've talked to Kirk Kennedy now over the last 2 years, and Kirk Kennedy says the main thing that he needs from his club, from his kids, is to be the most excited team on the field, and they looked anything but excited as mistakes seemed to be the order of the day for those Cougars.
Yeah, they really did. An interception, a fumble, a block punt. Couldn't seem to avoid the big turnovers, big negative plays in the first half.
So again, remember, at the end of tonight's ball game, we'll be bringing you our Route 1 Chevy Players of the Game. Those Players of the Game brought to us by our friends at Route 1 Chevy. So let's talk a little preview. It's almost like a preseason All-American team. Let's talk about who's made the most noise. I think you and I would both agree that Jimmy Finley right now is making a strong bid with a punt recovery for a touchdown, a punt block recovery that he blocked himself, an interception on the very next play, and then, of course, for good measure, a 42-yard touchdown reception. I think Finley's making a strong bid to be one of our Route 1 Chevy Players of the Game. And for KV, Marco Castro maybe, Diego Arroyo possibly. We've had a nice defensive work from Gabe Kistler, but I think overall the Cougars really expected more from themselves up here at Father Eckert Stadium.
Yeah, Castro's been strong in the run game, but other than that for KV, not too much to come by. And like you mentioned, Jimmy Finley has played a terrific ball game. You won't see many better plays anywhere than that block punt. Wow. Acrobatics to bring it down and run to the end zone from Finley. I mean, that was just terrific.
Acrobatics, that's right. You know what? I'm not old enough to do acrobatics anymore. There's no doubt about that. As you can see on the screen, there's one of our sponsors, Route 1 Chevrolet. We'll go ahead and take a 2-minute audio timeout. We come back. We'll continue to wax poetic at the half. Andrean with a 17-0 lead, and you're hearing it here on Regional Radio Sports.
Dr. John Szymanski is an exclusive Lumineers dentist. He can give you a dramatic new smile without the painful tooth grinding of traditional veneers. Lumineers porcelain veneers painlessly and permanently create perfect smiles without dreadful shots or removal of painful tooth structure. Whether your teeth are stained, unevenly spaced, or crooked, even if you have crowns or bridge work, Lumineers eliminate the trauma of invasive dental procedures to bring you a dramatically more beautiful smile. Contact Dr. John Szymanski today at 219-756-2345 and mention that you heard this ad to receive a special discount at Forest Ridge Family Dentistry.
Have you checked out Centier Bank's student checking account? This no-fee checking account is perfect for students and teens ages 14 to 24 and comes with all the features you need to succeed, such as a debit card, digital banking, and automatic deposit. Centier Bank can help you start establishing good spending habits today for your better tomorrow. For more information, visit Centier.com/student-checking or visit your local branch. If you are under the age of 18, your parent or guardian must also sign on the Centier student checking account. At the age of 25, your account will automatically convert to the Centier checking account. You must deposit $25 to open this account. This account is not eligible for overdraft advantage. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Paul Coundry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and the proud father of a United States Marine? Let me share with you something very close to my heart. It's called the Semper Fi Fund and its program America's Fund, which provides immediate lifetime support for post-9/11 wounded, critically ill, and injured members of the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans, and their families to ease recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Semper Fi Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.semperfifund.org.
Back here at Father Eckert Stadium, Monty, it feels like I'm back in high school because everybody was kung fu fighting those cats. They were fast as lightning. This is a lot of fun. 17-0, Andrean with a halftime lead over the Kankakee Valley Cougars. And you're going to get your first look at next week at Fred Jones Field. It's a beautiful facility, and they take really good care of us over there. And don't forget that our friends at Family Express also cater our press box food. Family Express on the web at FamilyExpress.com. That cravings to order food will be in the press box. So you're going to get free dinner out of the deal.
I can't wait for that.
I'm telling you what, man, the porker, 6 cheese garlic, and today I had their brand new chicken sandwich.
Oh.
And let me tell you what, they've got a spicy and a regular classic chicken sandwich that you got to try out. Go to FamilyExpress.com for a location near you, but there's 32 Family Express cravings to order kitchens, and they've got all kinds of great food waiting for you at Family Express. Hungry now.
Oh, I'm very hungry.
Telling you, right?
Oh, my goodness.
So let's go ahead and talk about our keys to it says keys to the game, but we know it's our keys to the second half. And we want to go ahead and talk about that a little bit. Again, those keys to the second half brought to us by Route 1 Chevrolet. Kankakee Valley, what do they got to do to get back in this ball game?
Vince, I think it's really simple. It all starts with holding on to the ball. Got to eliminate the turnovers, the overthrow for the interception, Arroyo trying to do too much, fumbling the football, block punt. Got to eliminate those things, make the game simple, stop getting behind the chains, too many penalties. Just hold on to the ball, make the simple play.
What about Andrean?
For Andrean, I think eventually here soon they've got to start running the football. I mean, we've only seen 2 rushing attempts. If this score continues, they're going to want to chew clock, get this game over with. I think we'll see a lot more of a heavy dose of Ellis Dumas here in the second half, so we'll see how the big fellas up front can block for Dumas to get loose.
And again, those keys to the second half brought to us by our friends at Route 1 Chevrolet are also bringing us our players of the game. And right now, we have some strong candidates. We're going to take our final 1-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll have the second half. Can Kankakee Valley get back in the ball game? We'll find out here in just a minute on Regional Radio Sports.
State Farm Insurance asked, what if you're walking out to your car and it's been mashed by a runaway garbage truck? Having a State Farm agent means having a real person to help you when things go wrong. So when accidents happen, you've got someone you know who will be there when you need them. See Connie Bernardi, 1072 Joliet Street, U.S. Highway 30 in Dyer. Call Connie at 219-322-9959. State Farm agent Greg Taylor is at 794 McCool Road in Valparaiso. Call Greg at 219-762-4911. And Dave Ross, 450 West Lincoln Way, Suite 210 Valparaiso. 464-3581.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This has been the Route 1 Chevrolet halftime report brought to us by our friends at Route 1 Chevrolet. Route 1 Chevrolet is happy to support Northwest Indiana High School athletics as well as serve the new and pre-owned vehicle and service needs of their customers in Northwest Indiana. Over the past decade, Route 1 Chevrolet has received the highest marks for service and sales of any dealer in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland. Their customers have made them number one. When you think of what's important to you, think of number one, Route 1. Route 1 is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 to 5 on Saturday. Route 1 is conveniently located at 631 North Dixie Highway in Momence, Illinois. They're 10 minutes from Lowell, 15 minutes from Cedar Lake, and only 20 minutes from DeMotte. In all cases, Northwest Indiana customers are only moments from Momence. They can be reached at 815-424-6068, and you can find them on the web at Route1Chevy.com. And the Cougars are in the danger zone as we hear more music in the background. Cougars are in the danger zone because they're going to have to be on defense at the beginning of this second half. And you were right. The Cougars have got to hold on to the football, get a stop, get the ball back, and they've got to find the end zone. Cougars came into this ball game on offense, averaging 30 points a game, 28 in game number 1, 32 in game number 2. 33, excuse me. We'll call it 30.5 points per game. Cougars came in averaging 280 yards per game, 170 passing and 110.5 rushing. How many did Castro have in the first half?
Had 57 yards on the ground.
So 57 yards for Castro, making a strong bid to be our Route 1 Chevy player of the game. So coming out for the second half kickoff for the Cougars, a number we haven't called all night long, is their kicker. We'll pull out our feature card, and that's going to be Alex Sayers. Thank all of our sponsors here on Regional Radio Sports. Don't forget to join us for our post-game report, where we're going to give you our players of the game brought to us by Route 1 Chevrolet. And we thank, again, the faculty and staff here, including Neil Demos, for their hospitality. As here comes the second half kickoff from Sayers. It's a short end-over-end kick. It's going to be retrieved at the 20-yard line. Ball's going to be taken over to the 20. There's a flag on the play. So the ball retrieved at the 20-yard line, taken up to the 30-yard line.
I believe they're going to get the Niners on a holding call.
They probably will. Give the reception, or excuse me, the kick return to number 11 for the Niners, and that's going to be Micah Jones. Mrs. Jones, that's your son's name. We promised you we'd say it. We did it again. You know what? I can say this, and I do it all the time. I have an Andrean connection at home, and it's an illegal block below the. Oh no! It's going to be an illegal block below the knees for the Kankakee Valley Cougars.
Oh.
That's a 15-yard penalty. So tack on 15 yards for the Andrean 59ers. Oh my goodness!
Oh, that hurts. I mean, we just talked about eliminating mistakes, and here we go with a 15-yard penalty to start the second half.
And they're going to walk it all the way off. So the ball started on the 30. It's going to be marked up. Actually, they only call it a 15-yard penalty. It's going to go up to the 45-yard line.
Wow.
So the Andrean 59ers are in business on their own 45-yard line after the penalty. Block below the waist is the call. 11:54 to go in this third quarter of play. 1st and 10, Niners just outside of their own territory, in their own territory on the 45. Ballantyne again with a trio of receivers out there. And he's got his Dumas, his running back. Actually, I'm sorry, it's Bolts. Bolts gets the handoff, give him a gain of 3. Bolts gets the gain, give him a gain of 3. Eichmann with the stop from the secondary, and if you have to call secondary players on tackles, you've got a problem, and the Cougars have got to try to stop them at the line of scrimmage. Andrean now parked on the 47.5-yard line. 11:28 to go in our third quarter of play. Second down and a long 7 for the Niners. Again, Ballantyne came into this ball game with a great passing numbers. 35 for 66 for 380 yards. Ballantyne with a single back behind him. He's going to give the handoff again. It's Bolts. Bolts gets to the outside. He's corralled by a number of Cougars, including 22, Marco Castro, in on that stop.
Cougars did a good job sealing the edge there. Bowles nowhere to go.
So Bowles with 2 rushes. Give him gains of about 3, we'll call it 3 yards. So he got a gain of 1. We'll give him 4 yards. You know, we're generous. It's a holiday weekend coming up. Please be careful this upcoming weekend to all of our listeners. We want to see you next week as well as Logan Urbanek into the ball game. He's on the near side. He's joined by Cole Jenkins on the far side. It's the everywhere man, Jimmy Finley. Bolts gets into his stance. He almost fell forward. Ballantyne with a long down and distance. Here's Ballantyne back to throw. Cougars trying to get pressure, but Ballantyne finds a lane. Now he flips it over the line. What a great play by Ballantyne. He gets it to Jenkins. Jenkins down the field. What a great play from Ballantyne. Takes it all the way down to the 28-yard line. Give him a gain of 33 on that reception.
Scott Ballantyne with the old Tim Tebow jump pass there.
Don't even talk to me about Tim Tebow.
Eludes the edge rusher. Steps up, jumps, and finds Finley.
So another reception for Jimmy Finley. Finley with a great reception after that jump pass. Ball's now inside Cougars territory, just outside the Family Express red zone.
There goes Bowles.
There goes Bowles with a run up the middle. Bowles gets all the way down to the 14-yard line. Give him a gain of 16 on that rush. Andrean getting anything they want right now.
Cougars come out a little lax, maybe seem tired here to start the second half.
And with that gain, they're now in the Family Express red zone. Remember, Family Express on the web at familyexpress.com, www.familyexpress.com, and Cravens to order for hot food, fresh and fast. So again, Ballantyne back with the snap. He's got Bowles. He's the workhorse. He's the bell cow, as you like to say. And they ring the bell again. Here comes Bowles into the secondary. He's got the corner. He's into the end zone. It's a 14-yard touchdown for the Andrean 59ers.
So easy there for Bowles. Just cuts outside, and there wasn't anyone within 5 yards of him.
14-yard touchdown. It's a 5-play drive that went 55 yards. Just took about 2.5 minutes. Bulls with the touchdown, call it 14 yards out. Niners with a chance to extend that lead, 23-0 so far.
31 yards rushing on that drive for Bulls.
My goodness, 23-0. Andrean with the lead. Jenkins with the snap to Ballantyne. And there's going to be a flag on the play. It might be motion?
False start.
Illegal substitution. Again for Kankakee Valley. That's the second time that's happened this ball game. And that was Eichmann. Both times it ran into the play and they call it an illegal substitution. They're going to ask Andrean if they want to go ahead and move it or if they want to refuse it and put it on the kick, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Chris Skinner says, no, sir, I think we shall stay here and assess this penalty after the attempt at extra point. I don't think he spoke it that way, but whatever.
Same penalty twice there on
Unbelievable.
the PAT.
Again, Jenkins with the snap. Ballantyne with the hold. Here comes Cusack's attempt at the extra point. Snap on the way. Hold is down. It's on the way, and it's off the upright, and it rattles through. It's good.
Somebody got a finger on that, but rattles through nonetheless.
So it rattles through the uprights, and the extra point makes it 24-0. Andrean with the lead. We'll take a quick 60 and be back with more Indiana high school football here on Regional Radio Sports.
Have you checked out Centier Bank's student checking account? This no-fee checking account is perfect for students and teens ages 14 to 24 and comes with all the features you need to succeed, such as a debit card, digital banking, and automatic deposit. Centier Bank can help you start establishing good spending habits today for your better tomorrow. For more information, visit centier.com/student-checking or visit your local branch. If you are under the age of 18, your parent or guardian must also sign on the Centier student checking account. At the age of 25, your account will automatically convert to the Centier checking account. You must deposit $25 to open this account. This account is not eligible for overdraft advantage. Member FDIC.
Your future is waiting at Ivy Tech Lake County. From information technology to healthcare, automotive to hospitality, Ivy Tech Lake County has programs designed to get you where you need to be so you're ready for the job you want. They have new classes starting in October, so come in and register today. Call 219-392-3600 or visit ivytech.edu/Lake County and enroll today. Your future begins this fall at Ivy Tech Lake County. Back here at Eckert Stadium, it's been all Andrean. The Andrean 59ers lead by a score of 24-0. Cole Jenkins got the touchdown late in the end of the first half with 55 seconds to go, and it didn't take the Niners very long. They started that drive at 11:56, and so give them 2 minutes and we'll call it 2 minutes and 46 seconds is all it took for them to get a touchdown. 2:46 the time on the drive.
It's do or die time now for the Cougars.
6 plays on that drive, 55 yards on that drive. Do or die for the Cougars is correct. Cusack with the kickoff. Lane Zander picked the correct side. He's going to retrieve that at the 2-yard line. Here comes Zander. He's into the secondary already. He's got a lane. Zander in the secondary. Zander's got a man to beat. He doesn't, but he brings the ball all the way back to the 40-yard line. Call it a 38-yard kick return for Lane Zander. Probably the only bright spot so far for the Cougars have been Lane Zander kick returns.
Zander, again, great job weaving through traffic, finding lanes, getting up to the 40-yard line.
So the Cougars will take over on their own 39-yard line with 9:32 to go in this third quarter of play. Again, that starting lineup, the line up front with Renfro, Dudlinger, Kitchen, and Kitchen. Sounds like a law firm in Burke. Grayley Weaver to the near side, and they've got Deerdorf to the far side. Castro's going to get the handoff. Castro trying to get in the secondary, and he's still fighting through, but he's not going to get far. How did he get back to the line of scrimmage? How he got a 1-yard gain, I'll never know.
Elijah Jackson met him at the point of attack.
He did. He said, hello, welcome to Andrean High School. We've got a really nice hospitality room after the game if you want to come on upstairs. Come to a few events here at Andrean High School, as there's some people in my house that might be loosely affiliated with the 59ers, like my wife, who's a graduate. So they've got slot receivers on the right-hand side. It's Eichmann on the far side with Deerdorf in the slot. Swallow is the wingback. Castro again gets a handoff on the offside of the formation. Castro fights forward for another yard, but every yard is precious real estate. 2 carries for Castro, barely 2 yards, and a lot of abuse.
It is. This front three for the Niners has just swallowed up the offensive line for the Cougars.
You know, Monty Lobb, I will say one thing, not that we're going to switch gears for sports right now, but we're going to switch gears for sports right now. As the Kankakee Valley Cougars are into their 3rd game, do you realize that there's only 3 weeks left of the regular season for soccer? And we'll have state playoff soccer here on Regional Radio Sports. Go to our website, rrsn.com. Deerdorf to the near side, Zander to the far side. Again, Arroyo takes the snap. Cougars have got to get something going if they want to move. Instead, they hand it to Castro. Castro into the secondary. He's got a first down and more. Give Castro a gain of 10.
Great job finding a lane there up the middle. A little spin move there as he shifts into the secondary.
I've been looking for Elaine all day. I said, where have you been, Elaine? Oh, no, that's Elaine. Never mind. A gain of 10 puts the Cougars on the 44-yard line. If you can't laugh at yourself, don't worry. Everybody else is laughing instead. 7:58 to go in our 3rd quarter of play. Cougars trailing 24-0. Weaver to the near side. Deerdorf to the far side. Castro's trying to get to that 100-yard mark. Again, they hand the ball to Castro. He's the bell cow. Castro into the secondary. Castro breaks free. He's still on his feet. All the way down to the 26-yard line. Another gain for Castro. Call it a gain of 18.
Castro just keeps on rumbling.
So Castro picking him up and putting him down. Gets 18 more big yards. 7:40 to go in this 3rd quarter of play. Clock stopped, and now it restarts. Cougars are in business, and they're just outside of the Family Express red zone. Eichmann to the near side, Deerdorf to the far side. Again, Castro should get the ball on the handoff to the strong side of the formation. Here comes the snap, and again, they hand it to Castro to the strong side. Castro in the secondary. He takes on Bowles, and he gets another 14 yards.
Great seal by Gabe Kistler on the outside, allowing Castro to get a lane going forward.
Castro gets to the 5th carry of this drive. He's got gains of 1, 10, 18, and 14. He's chewing up yardage. Right now it looks to me like 44 yards on this drive. And this team from Kankakee Valley is in the Family Express red zone. Castro gets another handoff. Hands it off to Arroyo. He's in the end zone. Right on the doorstep. He's not quite there. I thought that Castro had it.
Wow.
Castro's there. He's on the 1-yard line.
Just couldn't quite stay on his feet over a shoestring tackle there.
It's a gain of 11, and this is where the Cougars have had trouble with high snaps. They've also had trouble with fumbles as well as Arroyo looks to the sideline. Eichmann comes in with the play as well. Grabs Castro and says, hand the ball. hands the ball off to Arroyo. He says, hand it to Castro. I think that's the play.
It is.
Take a look for Castro to get the ball. Cougars parked on the 1-yard line. It's 1st and goal in the Family Express. Red zone. Swallow and Castro. Bracket, Arroyo. Arroyo gets the signal, hands it to Castro. Castro waltzes into the end zone. And finally, Kankakee Valley's got the touchdown. Cougars get the touchdown. Give the 1-yard run to Castro. Castro probably over 100 yards right now in this ball game. So Castro gets the touchdown. And this has been the tale of the season for Kankakee Valley. They have a poor half where they seem like they're listless and then come out all things ablazing in the second half. Andrean with a touchdown in the second half to make it 24-0. Cougars answer with a touchdown. They've got to get some defensive stops. Swallow will be the snapper. Arroyo will be the holder. Excuse me, they're going to go for 2. And again, they're going to give it to Castro. Castro fighting to the outside. He fights hard. And he gets in for the 2-point conversion. So Castro gets a 2-point conversion. And the Kankakee Valley Cougars may be back in this ball game. They've got 8 quick points. Our score, 24-8. We'll take a quick 60 and come back on Regional Radio Sports.
State Farm Insurance asked, what if you're walking out to your car and it's been mashed by a runaway garbage truck? Having a State Farm agent means having a real person to help you when things go wrong. So when accidents happen, you've got someone you know who will be there when you need them. See Connie Bernardi, 1072 Joliet Street, U.S. Highway 30 in Dyer. Call Connie at 219-322-9959. State Farm agent Greg Taylor is at 794 McCool Road in Valparaiso. Call Greg at 219-762-4911. And Dave Ross, 450 West Lincoln Way, Suite 210 Valparaiso, 464-3581.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Back here at Father Eckert Stadium, and we've got some statistics for Castro. Is he over 100 yards yet?
He sure is. He's at 113, 8 carries for 56 yards on that last drive alone, a touchdown, a 2-point conversion. Up to 20 carries total in the ball game is Castro.
So 20 carries for Castro, and again, we talked about him being the bell cow. The bell was ringing on that drive. We've got some more scores from Scoreboard Central, and there's a lot coming through from Fred Maxey. I feel like it's election night. That 3rd congressional district in Michigan's kind of messing with us a little bit. So the Cougars get a touchdown. Look for the Cougars. They've had some trickery on these kickoffs. They need to get a stop here, but let's see what happens with the kickoff. End-over-end kick, actually a little bit of a sidewinder, is going to be retrieved at the 15-yard line up to the 20, 25. Good job by the Cougars to sniff it out.
Great gang tackling there by the Cougars.
That was our friend that we wanted to make sure we talked about. Mom, you've got it. Micah Jones with the return. Give him 15 yards on the return. So the Andrean 59ers will be 1st and 10. Ball's going to be on their 25-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Andrean 59ers on their own 25-yard line. 6:18 to go in this 3rd quarter of play. So Ballantyne's had a pretty solid ball game. He's done a lot with his feet. He's completed some long passes. He's got slot receivers on the right and a single receiver on the left. Barks out the signals. Here comes the snap to Ballantyne, man in motion. It said Ballantyne with the read option is going to keep the ball. Gets into the secondary. Give Ballantyne a gain of almost 5. We'll call it give a gain of 5. Pushes the ball up to the 30-yard line.
Good idea there from Ballantyne in the read option. Able to gain 5 yards on that pickup.
So Scott Ballantyne came into the ball game. He had 5 rushes for 30 yards and a touchdown. He's added to those numbers as well.
29 yards tonight on the ground.
So, you know what? I'm not a math major, but wait a minute, I was. 30 and 29 makes 59. That's almost double.
Wow.
Right underneath there, just a tick under. Slot receivers reading their wristbands on the right-hand side. Ballantyne doesn't have to because he knows the play. Here comes the snap to Ballantyne. He's going to give me a handoff to Bolts, and the Cougars figured it out that time. Call it a loss of 1 on the handoff. Bolts fought for it, or he would have lost more.
The whole defensive line of the Cougars just collapsed all over Bowles.
And this is what Kankakee Valley does. They have size and they have speed. And so now the Cougars are trying to get a stop here. Maybe another touchdown and a 2-point conversion will get them back in this ball game. They're only down 2 scores, 24-8 to the Andrean 59ers with 5:12 to go in our third quarter of play. Lumbering off the field is going to be number 9 for Andrean. That's going to be their tight end, Luke Donsbach. Looked like he was a little bit binged up there. Donsbach kind of favoring his left shoulder. Maybe he's asking for chicken. He's making a chicken wing motion there.
He wants that Family Express meal.
That's what I'm talking about. So 2 men in motion. Now they're going to go ahead and set the formation. Here comes Jones, and they're going to call that flag. I do believe that was a delay of game call as the game clock winds down to 4:46, and it will be a delay of game call on the Andrean 59ers, which will push them back to the original line of scrimmage. Fred Shoup does make the call. Again, if you want to be an official, go to ihsaa.org and click the word officials. Don't be an amateur in the stands. Become a professional at ihsaa.org and become an official. Possibly promote those student athletes and help your communities as well. Never have enough good officials. Trips receivers to the near side, including the aforementioned Mr. Jones. Valentine's got bolts on his right hip. Here comes the snap, and he gets a little bit of help out there. Ballantyne trying to throw back across the formation. He does. Jenkins with the reception. Jenkins into the secondary. He gets it all the way up to the 40-yard line. It'll be first down Andrean on a gain of 15.
Finley so good after the catch, putting the defender on skates. Gained another about 8-10 yards after the catch.
I tell you what, I had trouble when I was on skates. I will tell you that was a problem. Call it a gain of 15 and a first down for the Andrean 59ers. Cougar defense back on their heels. Actually call it a gain of 13. Balls on the 37-yard line. First and 10, 4:18 with the clock stopped as Finley ran out of bounds. I keep calling him Jenkins. It's Finley. Finley in motion. It's Finley in motion. Warning, Finley in motion, and the ball's out to Finley, who was in motion, and he gets wrapped up hard on the outside. Nice job by Lane Zander to make the stop. Finley got the catch and barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Even call it a loss of 1. The only player in KV that's quick enough is Lane Zander, and he was Lane Zander on the spot. I won't say Johnny on the spot. He was right there.
He was. Some good sportsmanship from Zander, too, helping him up.
Patted him on the helmet. Some final scores from our friends at Scoreboard Central. Hobart 35-7 over Highland. Hammond Central 27-0 in the third quarter over Griffith. Michigan City 14-0 over Chesterton at the half. Wheeler 7-6 over River Forest at the half. Ballantyne with a pump fake. Now look at that ball. Beautiful. Gets it to the outside. He just overthrew his receiver.
Just a touch off on that pass.
Jones has got blazing speed out there, but the pass was incomplete. Fifth play of the drive, and so far, a couple of big plays and a couple of negative plays. 20 yards so far gained on this drive. Ball sitting on the 36-yard line. The line to gain is the 47, so it's going to be third down and 11. Ball sitting on the 36, 3:25 with the clock stopped on the incompletion. Split receivers to the left. Go ahead.
Look for Jimmy Finley here at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, no
to make
kidding.
A play.
No kidding. He's in motion. Here he goes to the strong side of the formation. They're going to look for Finley in the flat. Instead, Ballantyne rolls to the right. Ballantyne's got a man wide open, and he was right off of his fingertips. Jones had it on his fingertips.
Sorry, Mama Jones. But
Sorry, Mama Jones.
You're going to have that one back.
I can't tell you how nice that was to walk into stadiums and have Ballantyne's mom and Jones's mom say, "Are you boys here to cover our boys?"
They were.
We are. We absolutely are, and I love this punt formation. Take a look at the big men in the middle here, including my friend Zeke Gray. Zeke Gray is going to turn. They smack the pads, and now the snap comes low. Again, I'm learning how to speak here. Fair catch again called for by Lane Zander. There will be no return. Cougars will be just inside the 35-yard line, and they'll take over first and 10.
Cougars with a big-time stop after scoring the last drive, looking to really cut this into a single-digit ball game here.
Well, Monty, this is what we've seen from the Kankakee Valley Cougars all season long. Cougars come out like a house of fire in the first half. They have a tough second half. Cougars have a tough second half. because they just shoot themselves in the foot, and then they have a great first half of the next game.
Yeah. No consistency.
No consistency, and that's exactly what Kirk Kennedy talked about in our pregame interview. Valpo's up 35-0 over LaPorte. Arroyo's going to hand it off to guess who? Castro. Castro getting in the secondary. Castro still working his way forward. He gets a gain of 3. The junior working really hard. So give that rush to Castro and a gain of 3. Ball gets moved to the 35-yard line. Excuse me, the 38-yard line. Give it a gain of 3. Be a second down and 7 yards to go. Clock continues to motor towards the end of the third quarter. 2:46 to go as we've got Xander back in the ball game on offense. Grayley Weaver in the slot. Look for the Cougars to run away from the formation and give the ball to Castro. Castro runs towards the right-hand side of the lane. It's going to be another gain of 4 yards for Castro. Castro, again, the bell cow, as you said.
He is. I mean,
all we need now is the guys in the press box to start playing Ring My Bell. You know, we've been hearing the 70s music all night, giving them a little bit of information here. Cougars have got third down and about 3 yards to go.
Castro going to end up north of 30 carries here, just getting a ton of workload.
Well, we're north of the river, so that should happen. As again, Arroyo's looking for the signals with 3rd down and 2. Ball at the 44-yard line. Here's the snap. Guess who? Castro gets it. Castro fights his way forward. He's got a first down and more. Castro up to the 49-yard line. Another first down, Cougars.
Castro does a great job of just keeping those legs churning, gaining the extra yards.
3rd carry on this drive. Castro now has 12 yards on this drive. Ball's on the 48-yard line. Kankakee Valley again on the move. They trail the Andrean 59ers by a score of 24-8 as Zeke Gray comes off the field again. He's been in and out of the lineup. Looks like he's laboring just a little bit.
He's seen that athletic trainer a few times.
Miguel Rivera replaces him in the lineup. Another handoff to the outside. So it was a carry by Arroyo. Arroyo faked the handoff. He faked me out as well. Barely made it back to the line of scrimmage. They'll call it no gain. Actually give him a gain of
couple inches?
Give him a yard.
Yeah.
Gain of a yard for Arroyo. 1:26 to go in our third quarter. Play 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Ball directly on the midfield stripe, and there's going to be that option pitch outside to Castro. Castro gets cut in half. What a great tackle out there. Nice job on there by number 23 for Andrean. Give that tackle to Jaden Holmes. He came up and he supported strong and cut him in half. Castro with that high running style wouldn't have a chance to abuse him. Nice job by Holmes to stop that run.
Holmes did. Came about 10 yards all the way from that safety position in open space, cutting Castro down.
You have got to be a brave man to do something like that, and he did. Cougars have got to convert this long 3rd down. 3rd down and 8, ball on the 50-yard line. Clock down to 48 seconds in this third quarter of play. Here's the snap to Arroyo. Arroyo now again looking for the pitch to Castro instead. He keeps it Arroyo. He's gathered up inside. Give him a gain of 1. Cougars are going to have to punt, but it looks like they're going to let the clock run to the end of the half as the clock winds down towards 30 seconds.
Don Box did a great job of containing the option there. Made Arroyo pick between the pitch or cutting up forward. He cut forward, and he had other friends there to help him out.
He has friends. Good. You got to have friends helping you out there. So the clock continues to wind. Cougars won't run another play. We're going to have the end of the third quarter coming up right now after 8 seconds. Cougars trailing in this ballgame 24-8 here at Andrean. Kankakee Valley's got to get some stops, and if they do, they'll be back in this ball game. We'll go ahead and take a quick 60, and when we come back, we'll have our fourth quarter of play. Kankakee Valley trailing here at Andrean by a score of 24-8, and you have this game here on Regional Radio Sports.
Every day, people turn to their local Family Express store to fuel up and find what they're looking for. They enjoy their fuel for the day, fuel for their vehicle. Even Grandma grabs some fuel for the grandkids before she gives them back to Mom and Dad. But what gives us all a little extra fuel? Saving money. And Family Express is helping you do just that with FE Perks. FE Perks is a rewards program helping you save money on fuel by purchasing everyday items. When you buy perked items like a pop, or soda, depending on where you hail from, and a snack, items add up to even more savings. You save at least 3 cents off fuel every time you use FE Perks. Pick up your Family Express Perks card, register and get exclusive access to club cards, coupons, and free items in store. Download the app or sign up with your phone number for FE Perks by heading over to FamilyExpress.com.
And we're going to see if our cameraman can capture the Andrean sidelines as Zeke Gray is leading a rendition of Sweet Caroline here at Andrean High School. Kankakee Valley Cougars are going to have to punt the ball, and I believe they never would, but they're going to. So the Kankakee Valley Cougars are going to have to punt it away. Ball rests on the 50-yard line. They got 15 yards on that drive. We're going to start our fourth quarter of play with a punt down to the Andrean 59ers. A wobbly snap. Arroyo gets it away, and it's a beautiful kick. A little bit of squib out there. It's going to be Jones on. He muffs the punt. Ball is loose. Jones picks it up, and Jones is on the run. Here he comes to the outside. He's still on his feet. Oh, my goodness. He turned a disaster into a great gain.
Wow, what a wild sequence there. He muffs the punt and then picks it back up, turns the corner in a hurry.
Wow. Almost Heartbreak Hotel, as our friend Mike Knezovich likes to say, but instead Jones gathered that ball after he muffed the punt. Andrean 59ers are going to be in business just outside the 35-yard line. First and 10, 11:45 to go in our fourth quarter of play. Don't forget to join us at the end of our ball game as we'll be bringing you our Route 1 Chevrolet Players of the Game, brought to us by Route 1 Chevrolet. And our Players of the Game brought to us by Route 1 Chevrolet. Don't forget also, if the Niners continue to drive, they'll be in the Family Express red zone. Another handoff inside, and there's all kinds of lanes. Now Cougars are getting tired as that's a gain of 8. Give them a gain of 8.
8-yard gain.
And Monty, I'm almost 60 years old, and I could have run through that hole. It was wide open.
It was. Bull's getting a lot of room to work.
He's getting
here.
a lot of play right now. And you said it, and it's a really good term. It's the bell cow. When the Niners are behind, they have to pass the ball. They're in the lead right now, and they're going to go ahead and continue to rely on that running game. Remember Andrean with that tough season-opening schedule against Maryville and Valparaiso and Kankakee Valley with a little lighter fare when they had Rensselaer Central and Wheeler, as Ballantyne again hands it to Bowles. No, it's a read option to Ballantyne. Ballantyne in the secondary. Ballantyne still on his feet. Ballantyne still moving down to the sidelines. He'll get to the 41-yard line. So give Ballantyne a gain of 17 yards on that. He gets it all the way down to the 41-yard line.
Ballantyne had us both fooled there, thinking he handed the ball off, and he takes off himself.
Exactly. Actually, he stepped out of bounds at the 44, so instead of a gain of 17, it'll be a gain of 13 for Ballantyne. I always think of that movie, Trading Places. Ballantyne! In the slot on the left-hand side is Jenkins. Jones is over there as well. Again, a handoff. No, it's Ballantyne again. Ballantyne with a read option. Ballantyne out to the secondary. He dances out of bounds. Give Ballantyne, it looks like it might be a gain of 8. We'll call it a gain of 8. Another first down for the Niners.
Smart by Ballantyne to get out of bounds there. Up 16 points, dealt with an injury last season.
Absolutely.
Shows some real veteran leadership, some smarts to get out of bounds.
That was a good call on your part. And they say Ballantyne's a leader in the classroom as well. And when they talked to Chris Skinner, they asked Chris about this offense. They said they added a lot more wrinkles into this offense because Ballantyne could figure it out. He knows this offense, and right now it's running like a Swiss watch, that's for sure. 11:54 to go in this ballgame. Play clock down to 7. 2nd and 3 on the 37-yard line. Ballantyne back to pass. No, he'll break contain. But Ballantyne's going to be brought down in the backfield. And it's going to be Deerdorf with the stop. Give Deerdorf a loss of 4 on that. So it's a tackle for loss for Deerdorf. Be adding that to our Max Prep stats here.
3rd tackle for loss on the season for Deerdorf.
Absolutely, Deerdorf doing a great job. Ball back to the 41-yard line. Cougars need to get a stop and get the ball back as the clock continues to not be their friend. 10:26 to go. Ball on the 41-yard line. 3rd and 7 for the Cougars. Slot receivers to the near side. Bolts the bell cow on the right-hand side, hip of Ballantyne. Ballantyne is going to take the snap. Play clock down to 7. Now he hands it off to Bowles. This time he doesn't give it back. Bowles fights forward for about 3 yards, and you can see him doing that in practice, I'm sure, with a blocking sled. He's going to get a gain of 2. That's why they do the work, my friends.
bowls and golf by that second level of linebackers.
Golf, that's a good word. Get that out of your thesaurus. That's nice, man. So the Niners are at the 39-yard line of the Cougars. It's 4th down and 4, and it looks like the Niners are going to attempt to convert this 4th down conversion. They still spread the offense to the left-hand side. Look for a hard count, and that's exactly what I was thinking as well. Of course, they took my thunder over here in the press box. Instead, it's not a hard count. Ballantyne's back to pass, and the Cougars can't break contain Ballantyne on his feet. There's a flag on the play. Ballantyne's into the secondary, but it looks like it's going to all come back because it's in the area of holding.
Yep, Deerdorf, who had the sack just a couple plays ago, I think, was grabbed there by the right guard.
And the Niners are going to run out the punt team, it looks like now. Here comes Cusack. It is holding on the Niners, so all is for naught. Ballantyne's got like 160 yards that's been called back now today on penalties. That was a gain of 24 yards that was nullified by that holding call. So the Niners are going to be marched off for 10 more yards. Instead of being 4th and 4, it's going to now be 4th and 14. Ball's going to be back to the 49-yard line. So 4th and 14, ball on the 49-yard line. Zeke Gray now not only singing Sweet Valentine, but Sweet Caroline, he's back there. Punt is an end over end, but it's a sidewinder a little bit off the side of the foot. It takes a fortuitous KV bounce.
Good field position.
Good use of the word fortuitous as well. Ball on the 28-yard line. They'll call it the 30. Put the ball on the 30-yard line. Kankakee Valley will be in business 1st and 10 with 9:09 to go in this ball game.
We mentioned just a minute ago how Andrean's starting to get the running game going. Kankakee Valley likes to get the running game going, but with only 9 minutes, 9 seconds left in the ball game, they're going to have to start airing it out.
That's exactly right. And Diego Arroyo has had a better affair this year. Last year he looked a little suspect as a quarterback. This year he's looked very efficient back at the quarterback position. Arroyo came into this game on offense. He was 21 for 34 for 221 yards. He did throw his 3rd interception of the season so far in this ball game as Arroyo looks for the snap. Instead, they're going to hand it to Castro, and Castro breaks into the secondary, give Castro a gain of 7. So they zigged when we thought they were going to zag.
Yeah, Castro sure makes me eat crow. First play, 7-yard pickup for him.
You know what? I'm hungry, but I'm not that hungry. Here comes Deerdorf. He lumbers over to the near side. They've got Xander on the far side, the KV sideline. Arroyo again takes the snap. Hands it off inside to Castro. Castro breaks contained into the secondary. Castro pulls the pile forward to the 46. So give Castro a gain of 8 on that play. Castro already with 15 yards on this drive.
26th attempt of the game for Castro.
Castro making a strong bid to be our Route 1 Chevrolet player of the game for the Kankakee Valley Cougars, and I think you would agree with me that right now the player of the game for the Andrean 59ers has got to be the 6'1", 170-pound junior wide receiver, James Jimmy Finley.
Can't dispute that.
And then you better not. 8:14 to go, and Castro, there's one of those bad snaps. He's going to air it out. He's got a man downfield. Oh, and he had him. It's for Xander. Nice job on the coverage over there by Jaden Holmes. Jaden Holmes has had a good ball game, and you can see Lane Xander's really hurting over there on that sideline. He is really struggling to get back to the huddle.
He's played through injury all night long.
And I appreciate our cameraman taking care of us as well. As you can see, nice job by our cameraman to capture the site to go with my sound. 8 minutes and 7 seconds in this ball game. Niners showing blitz. Arroyo back to pass. Arroyo in all kinds of trouble. It looked like it was almost a face mask. Arroyo loses 2 as he tries to fight his way forward. He had nowhere to go.
He did. Seems like when they try to dial up the passing attack, just not in sync right now.
So 3rd down and 12 yards to go. Ball is going to be on the 44-yard line of the Kankakee Valley Cougars. You know what? For a natural grass facility and the age of this place, this is a really nice football field here at 5959 Broadway. Andrean 59ers played on the Battle of Broadway. They lost to Maryville. They lost to Valpo, but they're looking good today, and that's a delayed handoff to Castro. Castro getting into the secondary. He's into Andrean territory. Gets the ball up to the 48. Call it a gain of 9.
Very nice draw play there on 3rd and 12. You know you're in 4-down territory the rest of the way.
You think so?
I think
so too. I'm going to agree with you on that call. So 4th down and 3. Ball game's in the Cougars' hands right here. They've got to convert this if they want any chance to win. Almost a high snap. Instead, it's a read option to Arroyo. Arroyo fights his way forward, and I don't think he got there. Arroyo looks like he's a yard short, so we'll call it a gain of 2.
He was.
Second time today, the Cougars are going to turn the ball over on downs. Arroyo fought his way forward, but not quite there. A bad snap. Arroyo got the snap. He recovered, but just couldn't quite get there. Gain of 2. Turns the ball over on downs to Andrean. So the Andrean 59ers will take over on their own 45-yard line with 6:50 to go. Do they have a long drive in their repertoire to get them out of this ball game?
Look for Bulls to just continue to wear down this Cougars defense that has a lot of players playing both ways.
Absolutely. So Ballantyne has receivers down to the bottom. Let's see if it's a read option or if Ballantyne hands the ball off at 1st and 10. Instead, he does hand it off to Bowles, and Bowles is into the secondary, and he fights his way forward for a gain of 6. Excuse me, Donsbach.
First carry of the night for Donsbach.
First time I misidentified him. There's a start. So Donsbach gets the carry. Apologize to the whole Donsbach clan for doing that. Donsbach now into KV enemy territory. Ball sitting there on the 49-yard line as the clock winds, as the game clock is at 6:19, play clock at 17. Again, Ballantyne's going to hand it to Donsbach. Donsbach's going to be the bell cow. They got a lot of bell cows here. We're from dairy country down there near KV, so I can tell you that we know a lot about cows. And the Andrean 59ers keep going to the run, giving another gain of 2. So Donsbach, the worker on this one, gets a gain of 2. It'll make it 3rd down and 2. Ball's now inside Kankakee Valley territory on the 47-yard line. Clock at 5 minutes and 50 seconds. And Monty, this is a great start for us and our broadcast team with you and me and Nick. We're going to have a lot of fun this year, and hopefully the Cougars will be making some noise in the playoffs because they look a lot better than people expected them to look today, but a little bit of trouble. Cougars are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the NCC. Another handoff to Donsbach. Cougars have found it, but Donsbach forces his way forward. Donsbach was stopped in the backfield. He was wrapped up. He was dead to rights, but guess what? He said, not today, my friends. He fights his way forward into the secondary for a gain of 3 and a Andrean 1st down.
Donsbach gets the ball and just keeps powering forward. He's the 4th person the Niners have given the rock to tonight.
Nice, the rock. Had a lot of cancer awareness nights this week. We had cancer awareness night for Valparaiso boys. We had cancer awareness night for Lake Central girls. The Valparaiso boys were wearing pink uniforms with pink numbers on the top. Boy, I'll tell you what a fun game that was to call. 4-0 Valparaiso got the win, their first win against Chesterton in 10 years. As here comes the blitz. Cougars are going to say no, and they finally get a tackle for loss. Cougars might need to take a timeout here.
I believe it's going to be brought back. See some laundry over here on the left side of the field.
12-yard loss, and if it's against Andrean, they're going to say, we don't want to pick it up. Laundry on the field. We need maybe a dry cleaners for our sponsor. Looks like a loss of 10, actually. Illegal motion against Andrean. That penalty will be declined. Of course it will be declined. It's a loss of 10. So negative 10 on a yard loss there. Cougars are probably going to want to take a timeout. Clock winding, and Kirk Kennedy walks over near the officials. Cougars need to conserve time if they can. It's going to be 2nd down and about 16 miles. We'll call it 20 yards. Looks like 16 miles. I need new glasses, so. Here comes the snap to Ballantyne. Ballantyne with an inside handoff. Bowles is fighting forward. Is it Bowles? Yeah, it is Bowles. Hey, got it right this time. Bowles gets a gain of 3. Cougars finally take that time out. So it's another rush. 5th rush on this drive. It's a 60-second timeout. We'll take it as well. 4:20 to go in this ball game. KV trails 24-8 here on Regional Radio Sports.
For a quarter century, Forest Ridge Family Dentistry in Cherville has been serving the dental, cosmetic, and restorative needs of Northwest Indiana and the Chicagoland suburbs. Most dental insurances are accepted and financing options are available. I have put my trust in their skilled hands since 1986. So why don't you schedule that appointment today at 219-756-2345 or look them up on the web at forestridgefamilydentistry.com. Mention that you heard this ad and receive a special discount at Forest Ridge Family Dentistry, 7303 Forest Ridge Drive in Cherville for all your dental needs.
Don't forget that at the end of today's broadcast, we'll be bringing you our Players of the Game, brought to us by Route 1 Chevrolet. You can find them on Dixie Highway in Momence, Illinois. You're only moments from Momence, Route1Chevy.com. Again, our Route 1 Chevy Players of the Game, brought to us by our friends in Momence at Route 1 Chevy. And if the Andrean 59ers can move it down the field, they'll be in the Family Express red zone. So the Niners are going to take over 3rd and 18, ball on the 47-yard line. I'll call it 3rd and 18. Ballantyne takes the snap. Look for an inside handoff as the Niners are nursing a 16-point lead. They're looking for a count on the Cougars. Instead, they're not going to get it. Now Ballantyne gets the snap. Here comes the pressure. He gets it to the outside. What a great back shoulder read. Excellent back shoulder read. It's a great reception. Not quite a first down, but we'll give him a gain of 18 on that one. Tackle was made by Jaden Mendez, freshman linebacker out there. Welcome to Big Boy Football, as that's the first pass reception on this drive for 18 yards. So Ballantyne is going to stay on the field. It's 4th down and 1. Ball's on the 37. We'll call it 4th down and a long 2. Ball on the 37-yard line. Andrean might try to draw Kankakee Valley off sides here. Clock stopped at 4:14 to go in this ball game. Ballantyne gets the snap. Hands it to Bolts on the outside. Bolts tries to stretch for the marker. I don't think he got there.
Short.
No, he's tall. We're short. Bolts looks like he missed it by a yard. We'll give him a gain of 1. It's going to be a turnover on downs.
Good effort there, but few Cougars collapsed to take him down before the line to gain.
Aiden Eichmann came up with the stop, too. So the Cougars are going to take over 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line. Cougars don't have a lot of time to get this done. 4 minutes and 8 seconds. And as you said before, Diego Arroyo is going to have to rely on the passing game. And that's where Andrean is strong in that defensive backfield. Remember, the Andrean backfield, Gavin Jones, Jaden Holmes, Jimmy Finley, who's had a heck of a ball game, and Luke Neiman out there, too. We haven't called his number very often. But watch for the defensive backs from Andrean to kind of pinch up and try to catch a little bit of lightning in a bottle, maybe take one back. Arroyo swings to the right side. He's looking for a man downfield. Instead, he swings it short. It's in and out of hands of Swallow, and Swallow couldn't do that. He couldn't swallow it up.
No, and if there's ever a time for Arroyo and company to get the passing game going, it's right now.
That's correct. With only 4 minutes and 2 seconds to go in this ball game, play clock already down to 30 seconds. Cougars are in no hurry, but they've got to hurry up. Lane Zander comes off the field, almost another illegal substitution for the Cougars. Zander has had trouble with his wheels all night. Arroyo gets the snap again. They're looking for a bubble screen. They get it to Castro. Castro fights his way forward. Castro gets it up to the 43-yard line. We'll call it the 40. Give him a gain of 3.
Nice idea there on the bubble screen, but just took a little bit too long to develop. Arroyo had to kind of lollipop it over the defensive line to get it to him, and by that time,
I didn't have dinner. Quit talking about food.
Defenders were there.
Lollipops. 3rd down and 7, ball on the 40-yard line. We're having so much fun here on a Friday night. Friday night, a Labor Day weekend. If you got your fantasy football draft coming up, be sure to check out the Pigskin Project podcast, where you find your podcast. Our good friend Ryan Matthews and Ben Hansen on that podcast. Now Arroyo gets downfield. Zander was blanketed by defenders on both sides. Holmes was out there, and guess who else? Jimmy Finley.
Both there, but it almost seemed like he was kind of not able to high point that football. Kind of seemed held down a little bit there.
Well, and that's what the point is. If you have defenders on the front and the back, Cougars again in 4-down territory, that's what's going to happen. So the Cougars are going to have to go for it on 4th down and 7, balls on their own 40-yard line. This is the ball game right here. If the Cougars can get a first down, they'll continue in it. If not, Andrean can run it out. Instead, they hand it off to Castro, and Andrean sniffed that out. It's going to be a loss of 3 and a turnover on downs.
That draw play just about ends it right there. No lanes to go.
So 59 seconds was all the time the Cougars needed to go. Just no yards, actually no gain. 3 gained, 3 loss. Cougars had 4 plays, no yards gained. It's going to be a turnover on downs. Andrean's going to get the ball on their own 36-yard line.
First down here will just about do it.
Cougars have got 2 timeouts left. Andrean, their whole complement of timeouts as well. 24-8 is our score. 3:09 to go in this ball game. Andrean in the driver's seat. And they're trying to step on the gas as Ballantyne will take another snap. And he hands it off on the inside. And now the Cougars are just getting tired as Donsbach has got the handoff. Call it a 4-yard gain for Donsbach. So he picks up 4 on that carry. Deerdorf with the stop for the Cougars.
They've done a great job of mixing up the rushing attack, and the Cougars haven't quite had that luxury with Castro at 28 carries in the ballgame.
So the Kankakee Valley Cougars trying to avoid dropping to 1-2 and 0-1 in the NCC. Andrean 59ers trying to put a win on the board and be 1-2 as well. We'll continue to get scoreboard central updates from our friend Fred Maxey as there's another gain for Donsbach. Give him a gain of 10 and a first down. So Donsbach gets a pickup of 10. Donsbach just on the doorstep of the Family Express red zone, ball on the 24-yard line. 2:24 to go in this ball game. So the Kankakee Valley Cougars seem to always, this is always a house of horrors for them up here at Father Eckert Stadium. And Kirk Kennedy is going to talk to us on Tuesday, and I'm sure that he's going to mention the lethargic start to this ball game for his Cougars. Again, it's going to be a handoff inside, and it's going to be the outside. Cougars have sniffed that one out. They're going to have to call a timeout. It's like a handoff to Bolts. No, it was Donsbach again. Don's back with a 4-yard loss. Burke, one of many Cougars to be in on the stop. Brebeuf Jesuit 44-31 over Marion. New Prairie 47-6 over an overmatched Lowell Red Devil team. That's a surprise. Valpo 49-0 over LaPorte. Hanover 40-13 over Highland. Cathedral took out Penn 35-6 down in Indianapolis. That's going to be another pass to the outside. Guess who?
Jimmy Finley.
Jimmy Finley with the reception. Finley gets back to the original line of scrimmage, give him a gain of 6.
Wise by Finley to stay in bounds, too.
That's a smart play on his part. As the clock winds down to 1 minute. 1 minute to go in this ball game. There's going to be a timeout called by the Kankakee Valley Cougars. We'll stay right here and give you more Scoreboard Central updates. Crown Point was leading 20-0 over Maryville in the third quarter. Hobart was leading Highland at the half 35-7. Again, thanks to our good friend Fred Maxey with some scoreboard updates. Go to our website, rrsn.com, for time, scores, and schedules, and a listing of the regional radio sports network affiliate in your area. As the Cougars talk to their coach, and you can see the Andrean 59ers employing their fans to get on their feet. 24-8 is our score. 1:05 to go in this ball game. First down conversion will be the end of this ball game. Niners just on the doorstep of the Family Express red zone. $15-yard line is the line to gain for the 59ers. They lead 24-8 with 1:05 to go. Play clock already down to 15 seconds. Little AC/DC Thunder playing in the background. Man in motion is our player of the game, I'm going to say. Oh, it's a fumble. What a great play by the Cougars.
Took it right out of his hands.
Right out of his hands. That's going to be a fumble recovery. Burke with the fumble recovery. That was awesome.
That was. Beautiful play there by Burke.
So the fumble recovery from Burke is a highlight to be sure. So the Cougars will take over on their own 31-yard line. They don't have all kinds of time. They've got exactly 60 seconds, and they've got to get 16 points. Stranger things have happened. The ball's resting on the 31-yard line or with the 31-yard line. Kitchen comes out of his kitchen and back to the line. Mason and Miles on the right-hand side of that lane. Cougars have got to get going here. Here's a snap to Arroyo. They swing it to the outside. It's off the fingertips of Xander. That was almost a backwards lateral. Instead, it's an incomplete pass.
It was. Arroyo in this passing game just not quite in sync yet.
We didn't listen to NSYNC today. We listened to 70s music, man. So what are you talking about? Fourth day of broadcasting. Voice is starting to go just a little bit. Get a quick drink here real quick. Thanks so much to the Regional Radio Sports Network for the opportunity to do Indiana high school soccer and football. You're here in the Northwest Indiana football game of the week. We're here at Father Eckert Stadium with 56 seconds to go. The Cougars trying to get a touchdown and stay in this ball game. Arroyo looks for the snap. It comes back to Arroyo. He's got a man in the flat. Instead, Arroyo pulls it down. Now he's going to run. Now he's going to pass. Arroyo does a little jump pass, but it's intercepted! Excellent interception by Micah Jones, and that'll put a bow on this. Micah Jones with an interception.
Sure will. It almost seemed like Arroyo didn't know if he wanted to throw or run there for a minute. Finally does decide to throw, and not a good decision.
Not a good decision. Indecision was the wrong decision, but that's an interception. And now it's going to be victory formation for the Andrean 59ers as they take over at the 40-yard line of the Kankakee Valley Cougars. 47 seconds left in our ball game. Interception, Heartbreak Hotel for the Cougars. Cougars have got one timeout left. Ballantyne is going to be under center this time. First time we've seen him under center today. He'll take the snap and take a knee. Clock will run now at 44 seconds, and the Cougars are not going to try to stop it. Ballantyne doesn't mind having negative rushes when it's victory formation. Play clock and game clock within 2 seconds. 32 on the game clock, 28 on the play clock. One more snap for Ballantyne. He'll take the snap. He'll take a knee, and that should be all she wrote for this ball game. Cougars are not going to contest the final play, so the clock is going to continue to wind. And the Kankakee Valley Cougars are going to come north of the river, and the Andrean 59ers are going to get their first win of the season. And the officials getting handshakes all around from the players as well. So the Andrean 59ers defend the home turf. They're going to get a victory tonight. There's the final horn right there, and the Andrean 59ers get the victory with the win. The Andrean 59ers improve their record to 1-2. They're now 1-0 in the NCC, while the Kankakee Valley Cougars dropped to 1-2, and they're now 0-1 in conference. We'll go ahead and take a 2-minute timeout. We'll catch our breath. We'll get some statistics added up. We'll have our Route 1 Chevrolet postgame show. Andrean with the win here at home, 24-8 on Regional Radio Sports.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. Battles are won within. Over enemies of fear. Enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise of battles won.
Podcast is brought to you by the Regional Radio Sports Network, your ticket to the best seat in the house since 1992. The United States Marine Corps. The few, the proud, the Marines. Centier Bank. Since 1895, Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Ivy Tech Community College's Lake County campuses. Your future starts here. Horizon Bank. Exceptional service, sensible advice for 150 years. Engravables. Your headquarters for awards, trophies, and plaques. Tech Credit Union. The better option for personal and business banking.
You talk to your kids about many things, so when it's time to talk to them about finances, know that Centier Bank offers a fee-free student checking account to help guide good spending habits today for an even better tomorrow. Centier Bank.
We develop quality citizens who keep our core, our country, and our communities side by side on the winning side. Not for glory, but for honor. For a code that isn't written or spoken, but lived. It's what we do. It's who we are. It's the battle cry of our fighting spirit. Battles won. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
Presenting the Horizon Bank elevator pitch. Why aren't we telling you about ourselves? We're waiting for you to tell us about yourself. Our pitch can wait. Horizon Bank. Get a conversation started.
Back here at Andrean High School, our final score, the Andrean 59ers get the win 24-8, and you're in the Route 1 Chevy postgame report. Route 1 Chevrolet is happy to support Northwest Indiana High School athletics as well as serve the new and pre-owned vehicle and service needs of its customers in Northwest Indiana. Over the past decade, Route 1 Chevrolet in Momence, Illinois, has consistently received the highest sales and customer service ratings of any dealership, of any General Motors dealership in all of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Their customers have made them number one. When you think of what is important to you, think of number one, Route 1. Route 1 is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. They're conveniently located at 631 North Dixie Highway in Momence, Illinois. They're 10 minutes from Lowell, 15 minutes from Cedar Lake, and only 20 minutes from DeMott. In all cases, Northwest Indiana customers are, what are they, Monty? Only moments from Momence. Route 1 can be reached at 815-424-6068, and they can be found on the web at route1chevy.com. Post-game scoring statistics are going to be brought to us by personal injury attorney Dave Cox. Personal injury attorney Dave Cox proudly supports region football and wishes the Andrean 59ers and all region teams the best of luck in this season. We hope you never need his services, but if you were hurt in a wreck, you should call Cox. Attorney Cox is a life member of the $1 Million Advocates Forum and is dedicated to representing seriously injured victims of negligence and getting fair and just results. For a free consultation to discuss his best game plan in your case, call or text 219. Call Cox. That's 219-225-5269, or check him out online at davecoxlaw.com. The Cox Law Office is located at 8792 East Ridge Road in Hobart, Indiana. So we thank our friends at Cox Law for their season-long sponsorship and support of student athletes here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. Also want to thank our friends with our drive chart. Our post-game drive chart is going to be brought to you by Countryside Realty. Today's game is being brought to you by Countryside Realty, the preferred realtors of the Kankakee Valley Cougars. Countryside's team of realtors is ready to handle your next real estate transaction with honesty, professionalism, and over 24 years of industry knowledge. Don't go unrepresented in one of the largest investments in your life. Call their DeMott office at 219-987-SELL. That's 219-987-7355. Visit Countryside Realty on the web at 987sell.com or find them on Facebook. Servicing all of Northwest Indiana. Countryside Realty, where professionalism matters. Well, this ball game got started with the Kankakee Valley Cougars losing the opening coin toss, and so the Cougars didn't elect. They were told they needed to receive because Andrean deferred to the second half. On the opening drive, the Cougars got started, and it was one of their longest drives of the ball game. They had an 8-play drive, but that resulted in a punt to Andrean. Andrean 59ers took over at the 16-yard line. They had an incomplete pass. They had a negative pass for 3 yards, and then Scott Ballantyne decided to scamper 86 yards, which would have been great, except there was a little bit of laundry on the field. It was called back, and the Niners had to punt. So when the Niners punted, they went to the Kankakee Valley Cougars, and they gave the ball back to the Cougars as I try to gather myself here. The Cougars took over the ball on the 44-yard line. They ran 3 plays, and it was a 3-and-out, and they went back to punt. Diego Arroyo took the punt and received the punt back at the 20-yard line. And that's when our friend Jimmy Finley came in and blocked the punt and scooped up his own block, scampered into the end zone. The extra point was good. It was 7-0 Andrean. on the second play of the next drive after the Kankakee Valley Cougars took over on the 30-yard line. Jimmy Finley again involved because he intercepted an Arroyo pass, and Jimmy Finley had 2 huge plays within 3 chances to make big plays. He had the interception, gave the ball back to the Andrean 59ers, who took the ball over on the 48-yard line. Their drive stalled, and even though there was a 5-yard penalty on the Kankakee Valley Cougars, Cusack converted a 27-yard field goal to make the lead 10-0 for the Andrean 59ers. Kankakee Valley got the ball back. They took the ball over on the 38-yard line, but their drive stalled and they lost the ball on downs and gave the ball back to the Kankakee Valley Cougars. Kankakee Valley actually took an Andrean punt and took over again, but on the very first play, Diego Arroyo went to try to go fight for some extra yards. He fumbled the ball, and a player that we're going to call a little bit later in this recap, J.J. Bolts, got the recovery for the Andrean 59ers, and they were in business at 2:18 to go in the second quarter. Andrean took 3 plays, went 33 yards, and in total time was 1 minute and 27 seconds. And Cole Jenkins got a pass reception on the left-hand side. And I forgot to mention in that drive, immediately following the actual interception from Jimmy Finley, Finley also had a 42-yard pass reception on the Cusack field goal drive. So Finley made 3 huge plays within a span of about 2 minutes. Andrean actually took over the ball, and Cole Jenkins got the reception from Ballantyne, who had a heck of a ball game. That 21-yard touchdown reception gave the Andrean 59ers a 17-0 lead. Kankakee Valley ran 2 plays, and that was the end of the half. First drive of the second half, Andrean took the ball over, and they went 6 plays and 55 yards. Bolts had another touchdown run of 14 yards. Andrean was in the driver's seat 24-0. Kankakee Valley finally dented the scoreboard as they got the ball with 9:32 to go in that third quarter, and they had a drive that went for 3 minutes and 8 seconds, and it was a total of 6 plays, and it was topped off by an 1-yard Marco Castro touchdown run on that drive. Castro gained 55 of his over 100 yards for the ball game. The score was 24-8. But after that, it was back and forth on offense and defense. A bad snap at the end of this ball game to Diego Arroyo thwarted a Kankakee Valley drive. And when the Cougars thought they were doing well, they got the ball back one more time on a fumble recovery on the 36-yard line. But then Micah Jones got an interception, and Andrean was able to run out the clock. It all adds up to a 24-8 Andrean victory. And you have more statistics, and they're brought to us by our friends at Countryside Realty.
I sure do, Vince. And let's start with the Andrean 59ers, who won this ball game by a score of 24-8. And let's look at the passing attack first. Senior Scott Ballantyne ended with a completion total of 16 passes out of his 20 attempts with an 80% completion percentage. That's just terrific. 172 yards passing for Ballantyne tonight and 1 touchdown pass. That 1 touchdown pass went to number 10, Cole Jenkins, who had 2 catches for 33 yards in that touchdown. Number 11, Micah Jones, had 5 catches for 14 yards. Our star of the game, number 15, Jimmy Finley, 7 catches, 101 yards tonight. Bowles also with 1 catch for 2 yards, and Reyna also with 1 catch for 11 yards. Let's look at the running game for Andrean. Number 1, Ellis Dumas, 1 rush for -3 yards. Quarterback Scott Ballantyne, 6 rushes, 50 yards, and a fumble. Bowles chipped in with 9 rushes, 48 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. And Donsbach later on in the second half, 5 rushes, 21 yards. Now let's flip the script here and take a look at the Kankakee Valley Cougars. Their passing game led by Diego Arroyo, 4 for 11 tonight, 2 interceptions for a total of 13 yards, as well as a fumble from Arroyo. Those receptions went to Lane Zander, 1 for -1 yards, Eli Deerdorf, 1 catch, 7 yards, and Marco Castro out of the backfield, 2 catches for 7 yards. Flip it over now. Let's take a look at their rushing attack, which was definitely the strength of the game for the Cougars tonight. Marco Castro, 28 rushes, 143 yards tonight. Got a lot of action on the offensive side of the ball for the Cougars. Arroyo also 4 rushes, 19 yards tonight. Castro as well, the only touchdown, and completed the 2-point conversion for the Cougars.
So we're going to take our final 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we're going to award our Route 1 Chevy Players of the Game and put a bow on a beautiful night of football here for the Andrean 59ers as they get the win over here against Kankakee Valley at Father Eckerd Field. A big night for senior night, a win for the Andrean 59ers, and you heard it all here on Regional Radio Sports.
State Farm Insurance asked, what if you're walking out to your car and it's been mashed by a runaway garbage truck? Having a State Farm agent means having a real person to help you when things go wrong. So when accidents happen, you've got someone you know who will be there when you need them. See Connie Bernardi, 1072 Joliet Street, U.S. Highway 30 in Dyer. Call Connie at 219-322-9959. State Farm agent Greg Taylor is at 794 McCool Road in Valparaiso. Call Greg at 219-762-4911. And Dave Ross, 450 West Lincoln Way, Suite 210 Valparaiso, 464-3581.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your hometown credit union, people helping people, First Trust Credit Union.
First Trust Credit Union can help you score big with a game plan to support all your financial needs. Our lineup includes accounts, loans, and 24/7 online banking. So get off the bench and contact your hometown First Trust Credit Union team today at 800-276-6161 or firsttrustcu.com.
Podcast is brought to you by the Regional Radio Sports Network, your ticket to the best seat in the house since 1992. The United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. Centier Bank, since 1895, Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Ivy Tech Community College's Lake County campuses. Your future starts here. Horizon Bank, exceptional service, sensible advice for 150 years. Engravables, your headquarters for awards, trophies, and plaques. Tech Credit Union, the better option for personal and business banking.
Broadcast coverage of the Kankakee Valley Cougars in the 2023 Northwest Indiana football season on RRSN.com video, Facebook Live, and the Regional Radio Sports Network, LLC, has been presented by Route 1 Chevrolet. Indiana customers are only moments from Moments. They're conveniently located on North Dixie Highway and on the web at route1chevy.com. Other proud partners during our award-winning coverage of student athletes included First Trust Credit Union, Hamstra Group, Cuban Networks, Family Express, CI Insurance, Nitco, Countryside Realty, Toppin Inc., Personal Injury Attorney Dave Cox, Forest Ridge Family Dentistry, and the 2023 Indiana Football Digest. So our final piece of business here at Father Eckert Stadium on this beautiful Friday night is to award our Route 1 Chevrolet Players of the Game. Again, our Players of the Game brought to us by our friends at Route 1 Chevy on Dixie Highway in Momence, Illinois. For the Andrean 59ers, they're going to get the win, but Kankakee Valley drops the record to 1-2 on the season. They're now 0-1 in the NCC. A lot of good play from Kankakee Valley, but again, a lethargic half from the Cougars. Let's find out who the score is going to be. The player of the game brought to us by Route 1 Chevrolet should be
Marco Castro will be the player of the game tonight. He had 28 rushes for 143 yards. Seemed like every time you looked up, Vince, he had the ball in his hands.
So Marco Castro, the player of the game for the Kankakee Valley Cougars. The Andrean 59ers improved their record to 1-2. They're now 1-0 in the NCC. They played that really tough 5A laden schedule at the beginning of the year. They lost to Maryville big. They lost to Valparaiso, the defending 5A state champions, big. But tonight they showed they will be one of the teams that's tough in the Class 2A. Scott Ballantyne had a good ball game, but he wasn't our player of the game. Our player of the game for the Andrean 59ers would be
Jimmy Finley. I mean, the guy did it in every phase of the game. On offense, 7 catches for 101 yards tonight. On defense, made the first turnover of the game with a nice interception of Diego Arroyo. And on special teams, had a great block punt, grabbed it, took it in the end zone for 6.
So good job by you and Nick tonight. By Monty, let's go do this next week. Let's go back home to KV.
Absolutely. Sounds good, brother.
Okay, so we're going to give special thanks to the faculty and staff here at Andrean High School, including their athletic director, Neil Demos, for their fine hospitality and help with tonight's broadcast. We also want to thank both head coaches. That would be Kirk Kennedy of Kankakee Valley and Andrean's Chris Skinner for pregame interview accessibility and stats. With tonight's 24-8 victory, Andrean improves their record to 1-2 on the season. They're now 1-0 in the NCC, while KV drops to 1-2, and they're 0-1 in conference. Next up, the 59ers take their show on the road to Munster to meet up with the Mustangs, while KV will be at home hosting the Hobart Brickies. KV Hobart is our next installment of the Northwest Indiana High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Route 1 Chevrolet. Pre-game coverage on RRSN.com audio with me and the crew from Fred Jones Field begins at 6:15 p.m. Central, with kickoff slated for 7 p.m. And that game is just one of 4 we'll have on September 8th on Regional Radio Sports. In addition to our game, we'll have the Hammond Morton Governors traveling to Penn. Michigan City's going to be at Valparaiso, and the Lowell Red Devils will be heading to Hanover Central to meet the newest member of the NCC, the Hanover Central Wildcats. Be sure to check our website, rrsn.com, for time, schedules, and a listing of the Regional Radio Sports Network affiliate in your area, as we continue our positive promotion of student athletes. So for all of us here at the Regional Radio Sports Network and our crew here in beautiful Andrean High School, it'd be cameraman Nick Shallon, of course my broadcast partner, the fine young man he is, Monty Lab. This is Vince Gray reminding you, final score was the Andrean 59ers 24, the Kankakee Valley Cougars 8. God bless America and God bless you all. So long for tonight from Andrean High School in scenic Maryville, Indiana.
Broadcast on the IHSAA Champions Network is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.